Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Nakwam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach, Malak Yavushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahushua. A hearty shalom to you mighty men that go out there and labor and do the work of the Most High, presenting your body as a living sacrifice and doing all things for the elect's sake, pushing this truth and magnifying the ministry. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to all of the Akwat out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and being steadfast as our righteous foremothers. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. D-Vash Branch, Amaziah Yahawada, Gadar Kabad Ibad, Benjamin Youngwolf, Emily Jones, and Edomite, Malcolm King, Salah Judah, Yawanathan Ban Yahawada, Shakatya, Damon Ferris, Gabor Shaw Amath, Terrence Jefferson, and everybody who's tuning in. It's Monday Night Fire, right? And the topic of this live stream is rapid fire Q&A. All right, every now and then we do go into different breakdowns, parables, lessons, history, geography, the Hebrew, Greek. You understand? Also going into different forms of understanding, proverbs, going into central wisdom. Now, tonight, we're going to shift gears and open up the floor for any questions that brothers have that you may have come across, whether you're reading, studying, you may have watched the breakdown. I know certain brothers, you watch other videos, other camps, you have heard something that may not resonate with your spirit, or you may have a question. Brothers may not have reached back to you. So now is the opportunity to ask these questions, because one question that you may ask may also edify 20 other people. So don't never hesitate to ask questions. We're all here to learn. We're here to get built up in the spirit and grow in the power of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. We're not going to spend Shalom King.
Shalom King.
We're not going to spend 4 hours on each question. Hence, rapid fire Q&A, because we never get to more than 10 questions, if that, on these Q&As. So we're going to try to tackle these rapid fire and knock out as many questions as we can through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. We'll post your question on the screen so everybody can see it. We'll repeat it and we'll kind of go through it and break it down. All right, so the first question from Barry Gordon. Explain 1 Peter chapter 4:16. Let's deal with it. All right, let's deal with it. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 16. It reads, bear with us. This 1 Peter chapter 4:16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on his behalf. Meaning, you're going to suffer, and it's true. But when you read this chapter, there's a right way to suffer, and there's a suffering that's a wrong way to suffer, meaning judgment. You can suffer, and that can be a judgment from committing any transgression. Your back can go out. You can get some type of terrible illness. Your woman may commit adultery. Your son may die. Your bank account just liquidated to zero like that. You're dealing with demons all of a sudden. Now you're suffering. Don't think every suffering that you're going through is just the Most High chastening you because he loves you and he's proving you. No, chastening is one thing, and receiving judgment and suffering for your sin is another thing. So when you read, I'm going to read up 2 verses. This verse, actually, I'm going to read verse 12. 1 Peter chapter 4:12. And right, if you want, you get in, you know how to do it.
Con, I got precept.
All right, Con, let me get this real quick. This 1 Peter chapter 4:12. It reads, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But whatever you're dealing with, somebody else is dealing with. Make it a plain, right? Don't think that you're the only one that don't have a job. Don't think you're the only one whose family is against them. Don't think you're the only one who's dealing with physical ailments of pain, right? You're in a fiery trial. Don't think it's strange as though you're the select one out of the multitude of people. Everybody, if you're of the nation of Israel, you're going to be dealing with things, right? Whether it's financial, mental, spiritual. It reads, but rejoice as much as you are partakers of Mashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. So that's the suffering that Yahushua went through, right? If you're a partaker, meaning you deal with the same sufferings as Yahushua, that's something to glory in, right? When you're suffering, when your family leaves you, your wife gives you an ultimatum between pick me or the Bible, right? When your children say, I hate you, Dad, I hate these fringes, and it weighs you down mentally. And guess what? That's the suffering of a righteous man. That's the suffering that the Lord wants you to go through, right? Now, again, if your arm broke because you got caught stealing, somebody damn took a hammer and bust your damn arm up, you can't go through that pain and say, "All praise to the Most High." Hey, look, man. Hey, look, the Lord dealing with me, brother. No, you got caught stealing, man. That's why they took a hammer and busted up your damn hand. You know, you're gambling excessively. Now all your money is gone, and you're stressed out about it. Don't have the mentality of, okay, well, I'm suffering, all praises. I lost all my money. The Lord is trying me like Job. No, brother, the Lord is judging you for being a nigga, right? Two more. It reads, if ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified. But here's the point. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. Meaning, you can't be suffering for going the hell off, right? And thinking that's something to glory in. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on his behalf. Now, real quick here, I know you got a precept. This word Christian in the Greek does not, it means anointed, Christos. That's what the word Christian goes back to. It goes back to the word Christos, where you get the word Christ from, which means anointed. And in Hebrew, that's Mashiach. You understand? So, or Christianos. Here's the word in the Greek.
Strong G5546. Christianos. Christianos.
Which means the anointed, an anointed one, or a follower of Christ, or a follower of the anointed. Right? So you want to, it's not talking about the nasty Christianity of your grandmother's church. It's speaking about a true follower for Mashiach, walking in the steps of the Lord, being a partaker for suffering. You got it, King.
Come. And to touch on what the brother was saying, not every punishment, you understand, is chastisement and love from the Lord, because you can get jammed up multiple ways, man. It's a lot of people that's in sick accidents. You can't say that that's the Lord loving them and chastising them, man. Right? We seen a video, somebody was at work, and that one part of their body got in this machine that was like twisting. Next thing you know, it kind of ate up their whole body, and they went headlong into this compactor machine, and it killed them, man. You can't say with the Lord, he truly loved that man. That's judgment. It's the book of Job, chapter 31, right? And verse 4. Doeth not he see my ways and count all my steps? If I walk with vanity, or if my foot had hasted to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, and that God may know mine integrity, right? Integrity. If my steps have turned out of the way, and my heart walked after my eyes, if any blot cleave to my hands. Right now, when you jump to verse 3, it says, is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquities. So you have strange punishments, man. When somebody on the elevator and then it just drop out of nowhere and that's a strange way to die, right? You got the saints, they fall asleep in their beds, you understand, peacefully, whatever the case may be. You have chastisement, but then you have strange deaths. Somebody get in a car accident and their head smashed through the windshield, then they get ran over in traffic, man. These are strange punishments. I'm gonna jump to verse 20. It says, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have lifted up my hands against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, then let my arm fall off my shoulder blade, and my arm be broken from the bone. See, and that's, hey man, that's not a good thing, man. That's not, does the Lord love you? That's the chastisement when you read this chapter for not being in order and being on fire. You understand? So you can suffer on the right hand side, an honorable death like the apostles, or you can suffer on the left hand side because you wanted to, fight, smoke weed, violence, and then you get stabbed up in jail. So it's two way. It's always a just balance in this thing.
Yeah, this one more quick or another quick precept. Ecclesiastes 8:5. Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So you gotta be able to have discernment. That's not always talking about, is this brother a thief or not? Should I court this woman or not? Right? That's not the only forms of applying discernment. If you're trying to get a wife or get a husband, or if you're trying to get a job, whatever the case may be. You have to have discernment when it comes to the spiritual realm, huh? And understanding if the Most High is judging you or not. A wise man can determine, okay, damn, the Most High is jacking me up right now. I've been slothful. I've been going the hell off. Damn, I just committed adultery. No wonder why my car keep breaking down. No wonder why I keep getting I got boils all over my body, right? No wonder why my landlord keep knocking at the door, and I just paid the rent. He keep knocking at the door saying, we want more. We want more. Nobody else, but we want more. Hey, and he shoot up your damn rent. Everybody else rent is 1,000. Your rent is stepped up 2,000.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be like, well, what the hell? That's the Most High judging you. You have to have that discernment of understanding the time and the judgment. When the Most High is jamming you up for a particular sin, and understanding when to execute judgment at the appropriate time. All that comes through discernment. You got it.
Con. And one more. I got one more. This is Sirach, chapter 7, verse 1. Do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. And the Lord is not a man that he should lie. So when you catching hell, that's not evil. That's getting tried through the fire. And like the brother's saying, you got to grow in this truth and have a level of discernment. Can't just say, well, damn, I thought the Lord would never leave me. And I'm going through this. I feel like he left. And next thing you know, you started to wheeze away. Feel like the Lord not dealing with you. You catching hell. Hey, man, Job caught hell, man. And the Lord loved Job, man. I was a saint. It says, depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. This is the point. My son, sorrow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. So you could reap strange punishment sevenfold by not being on fire, by not being diligent, by committing sins. You understand? You get popped, right? And then you could get killed. It's a difference. So sevenfold, and 7 is a number of completion, meaning all hell could break from you. You lose your job, your wife leave you, your dog run away, your children go live with their grandmother, right? Your rent get high out of nowhere. Every single time you go outside, it's raining, right? You're just catching hell, man.
Man.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, man. That's yeah, you brothers, man, you gotta have some discernment in this thing, man. That's something to pray for it too, man. Right? And we never get tired of saying it. Stop praying for all of the in-depth breakdowns, man. And you don't pray for no discernment. You be a damn fool, man. Your damn foot split in half down the middle. And you try to figure out why. Right? You taking 5 days to go on the fast to try to figure out why. Not knowing that you just was watching porn, and then you was there about to flirt with his brother's wife, man. Why is my foot split down the damn middle, man? You gotta have some discernment. You know? All right, so next question. We will rule, Shalom. I can only trace my lineage back to three generations to Judah. Should I be worried? I feel like it was just a demon trying to take me out the truth. Well, I got a quick precept. You don't have to worry too much about your endless genealogy, right? Let's get that real quick, man.
Come on.
And guess what? I know I'm an Israelite, man. I know it. I look, you can't we'll prove it. Show me the records, show me the DNA, get the DNA. No. Well, how do you know? Look, through faith. Right? You don't have to sit there and have a damn 3 elaborate DNA. They hook the apparatus to you like the 50 Cent damn music video. You running on the damn treadmill, You understand? And they try to see the blood work. You don't have to do that, man. And if you've done that, hey, guess what? Those days are over with, man. Every week you're getting your blood drawn, Naphtali or Judah. Right? Let me get this. This First Timothy chapter 1, First Timothy chapter 1 and 4, man. Brothers actually do that though. They always ask about DNA tests and 23andMe and Ancestry.com. First Timothy 1 and 4. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than edifying, which is in faith so do. So Paul charged Timothy, hey, when you out there dealing with all of these Israelite foreigners, they're going to have all of these concerns about their forefathers' records, man. They're going to hear about the temple, going to get built up in the faith and learn about Ezra, and they're going to ask you one day, Timothy, who's my father's father's father? How do I know I'm an Israelite? And then you're going to have to go through discernment and tell them what time it is, through the Spirit, instead of these actual records. You got a king. You got precept back.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 15. Which shew the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness. So your conscience could bear witness in this thing, man. Your spirit bears witness, your conscience bear witness. Say you don't really know your forefathers. You understand? You don't even know your father. You were adopted, or he just never was around. You understand? Your conscience is going to say, you know what? That makes sense. You know what? Slavery did happen. You know what? That really okay. It says yokes of iron, right? It says captivity, right? It says shackled. It says saying all of these spiritual things. Ain't nobody else on earth have fit these things but us. It has to make sense through the Spirit. It says also bearing witness and their thoughts, the mean while accusing or else excusing one another. So you can bear witness in your conscience and in your spirit. You understand? And it's the Spirit. When you hear these words, don't just look at the Bible and just think paper and ink. No, and when you read these words, it's the Spirit. And they hit you. Hey, man, we've been out there and we've seen people cry. We've seen people rejoice. How you going to make a grown man rejoice in this world, right, without damn money, blunts, damn women, gold? Hey, men are rejoicing from hearing the words of the Lord. Man, that's the Spirit, man. Try to make a brother cry and crying. Hey, you read the right precept when he need it, he might break down, man. Hey, Jeremiah cried, man. When the revelation, you understand, and the prophecies, the Spirit of the Lord was hitting him, he cried, man. So these words, they'll break you down. They'll cut you up. You understand? You may not even believe in the Bible. But guess what? You're going to fulfill what the Lord said when the Lord said the wicked flee when no man pursue. Because something in you is going to get cut by this word. This word is real, man. It could cut you, make you flee. It could break you down, make you cry. It could have you rejoice, right? And it also bears witness in the spirit and in the conscience.
This quick precept, this Galatians chapter 4 and 4. It reads, but when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. And because ye are sons, the Most High hath sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. So if you're an Israelite, the Most High is going to send forth the Spirit of his Son into you, and your spirit is going to cry. It's not saying, well, I came into the truth, said, Abba. That's not happening. When you watch the video, you keep saying Abba. It's spiritual. Your spirit is crying out. You understand? Resonating with the truth. You get that yearning sensation, that fire, that excitement that you never had before, man. You understand? That thrill of connecting back to the Most High and finding out who you are, who your God is, and what your heritage is, man, and what the Most High has in store for you. Right? It reads, I want to jump down to verse. Actually, I want to hold that. And let me get this in 2 Corinthians. This 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 2. It reads, yea, are our epistle written in our hearts, known and read of all men. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Hamashiach, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart. And such trust have we through Hamashiach to Godward. So these words is a living spirit. That's St. John 6:63, right? It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Like the brothers going into, there's no reason it should be a whole riot. We read the book of Genesis, chapter 1, and people start damn scoffing and spitting at us, man. You out there by yourself. There's been times you out there by yourself, you teaching. Like last camp, man. Hey, man, it's a damn ghost town out in Hagerstown. I get there, I'm like, look, I tell them, hey, look, man, we're gonna have to teach in this spot. We ain't really see too many Jakes, kind of seen a few of there. And then one of the young brothers, he said, hey, look, the Most High is gonna bring the fish, man. And I said, hey, yeah, come. So we kind of set up camp. And then out of nowhere, man, the Lord brought a lot of fish that day, man. More than we get, at the harbor or at Penn and North or whatever the case may be, start coming out of nowhere. Why? Because they're smelling the spices of the garden. The garden is issuing out the spices, and they're smelling it, and they're attracted and gravitated to it, man. Let me get that quick precept real quick, King. Right? That they smell the spices of the garden. Right? This Song of Solomon. It's no coincidence, man. Song of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 12. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse. A spring shut up, a fountain sealed. Thy plants are as an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, campfire with spikenard. Right? These are different plants within a garden. On one level, the garden is Israel, and we're the different plants. But on another level, wisdom is a garden. You understand with the different men. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Haggai, Zechariah, right? Reading on. Spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, right? Different prophets, mighty men. Myrrh and aloes with all the chief spices. A fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, because this is the living water. This is wisdom. You understand? It reads, and streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come thou south. Blow upon my garden, that the spices thereof may flow out. What was the point of letting the spices flow out? So people can smell the spices, get attracted, and come into the garden and get this truth. So everybody that's out there, whether they know it or not, they smell the spikenard. You might go to Genesis, that's calamus. You might go to Revelation, that's what else we got? Saffron. And they, what's that? And then they come over. So if they come into the garden, it's their spirit, man. Mm-hmm. You understand? Their spirit is attracted to this word. You got it,
Nah, that was it on that.
All right, Con. All right, Elkoism. Well, there's such things as giants. You want to hop on it, or I can hop on it.
I'll jump in there. All right. Let's go to a book of Deuteronomy. All right. All right, it's the book of Deuteronomy. All right, chapter 3 and verse 11. And it reads, for only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Now, when it says giants, that doesn't mean that they were as tall as trees. That doesn't mean you walk outside, you see your nearest building, and you look up and you equate that to what the Lord is speaking about, because that's not what this is going into. Don't let fairy tales and fables and books and Andre the Giant and all of these folk tales get jammed up with the truth, man. Right? Because you're going to go off. It says the remnant of giants, behold, his bedstead. Now, your bedstead is literally where you lay down at. You go to sleep, right, your bed. Now, I don't know anybody's bed that's 70 miles long and they're only 6 feet, man. There's no room for that. Your bed should be just a little bit longer than, how tall you are. It's telling you how tall this bedstead was of this giant, right? His bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man. Right? I'm gonna look up that. I believe that's around 9 feet or 13 feet, one of the two. I'm about to look that up real fast. Bear with me, so we can see how long that was, man. Right?
Kanye, hey man, when you go into these other books, While the brother looking that up, they tell you certain men are 4,500 feet tall, which is ridiculous, man. 4,500 feet tall. Stop reading the book of Enoch and these other books, man, where the giants came down and then they damn start eating the people. You got it.
Con, yes, it's around 13 feet, right? So I mean, you had a lot of tall men in the ancient world, man. A lot of tall men. Men were taller back then. You understand? Now, let me get a quick precept. If I can find this quick precept through the spirit, bear with me. I was just reading it last night. It's the book of 1 Samuel, right? Chapter 10 and verse 23. And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders and upward. Talking about Saul. So Saul was kind of tall, man. So when Saul was chasing David, Saul wasn't just David's height. Saul was very tall. And he was chasing around David, and he was tall. But that it says they looked to his shoulders. It didn't say they would look, they snap their necks to look up. Right? If somebody's taller than you and you come into their shoulders, you can be like, damn, you kind of tall, man. That don't mean you get some goggles and you look to space. Right? So the bedstead was nearly 13.5 to 14 feet, but still in the 13 range. So those giants that the Bible was speaking of is talking about men. It's not talking about fairy tale creatures. You got it.
Con. Yeah, I typed in 4,500 feet giants, Enoch. It says, who were the Nephilim? And were they bullies? So a lot of brothers think that they'll go into that word giants and they'll automatically equate it with Nephilim, right? Madness. The book of Enoch and the book of giants, right? And it tell you that when you go into that account, that the so-called giants was eating people. It wasn't like this. Look at this. See that man on his back?
Madness.
It wasn't David and damn Goliath, man. And they said that the giants was eating all of the trees, right? And they ended up being an offspring of angels and men, right? Which is absolute madness, right? Now, bear with me. I want to get this. Salakia. All right, that's all right. We can move on, unless you have something else.
Yeah, that's
All
pretty
right.
plain in Deuteronomy. It lets you know it's bedstead. It gives you a physical height. You understand it, go into it, and it's the word giant.
That's right. All right, can you break down Matthew 15 and 11? Right? Matthew chapter 15 and verse 11. It reads, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man. So this is speaking about eating food with unwashed hands. Every Christian, they'll go to Acts 10, they'll go to Matthew 15, Mark chapter 7, 1 Timothy 4, and many other precepts with no understanding, thinking you can eat pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, horse, seahorse, and all types of abominable creatures, man. You have to keep things in its proper context. Then the Lord said in Proverbs chapter 4 and 7, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. With all thy getting, get understanding. You have to be able to comprehend the wisdom of the scriptures and not just automatically associate one verse with your own opinion and your own mind. Right? When you jump up to verse 1, it reads, Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat. It's like you got
Come, right? And to pick up where the brother left off, I'm going to jump into Mark, because Mark is saying the same thing Matthew was saying, right? It's the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 5. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the traditions of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands, right? So these Pharisees trying to trip Yahushua up with anything they could find. Okay, well now Now that they trying to look for any excuse to have fault in him, right? That's the context of the situation. So you can't read anything without having its understanding in the context. Can't read every single thing and you say, nah, I'm reading it in the spirit. Like there was no physical Babylonian empire. Like there was never a physical Egyptian empire. Like everything is talking about one thing. You gotta go in a context. You gotta read it in the spirit. You have to pray for discernment. You have to really get into this thing, man. That's the spirit. Just because men of this world are so-called scholars, they know the history, they know the times, they know the dates. They don't know what it's actually saying through the spirit. You have a lot of people, they think they're reading everything in the spirit, you understand? But they don't have any context. And then you have some Christians, they don't have any historical evidence, no proof. He don't know what's going on in the spirit. They just jammed up. They take a precept and they stretch it into a doctrine. And when you read verse 5 and then you jump to verse 15, there is nothing from without a man that entereth into him that can defile him. Meaning what? Eating with dirty hands. Doesn't mean you damn grabbing all the mud and you pick up some chicken. It's not talking about that. I mean, it's not a physical sin, right? And you have to physically wash and in-depthly go. A lot of the men of the Lord, they were on journeys. They may not have had water, right? They were in wildernesses, right? These things literally happened to our forefathers. So he's telling these men which are acting over righteous, there is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which cometh out, right, of him, those are that defile a man, right? Talking about evil communication. Shalom, King. Evil communication, right? Thoughts that you bring forth, you understand, by thinking and you speak them, right? Slandering your brother. These things that defile you, but not what goes in as far as eating with your hands.
God, and to add to that, a lot of the scribes and Pharisees, they advocated man-made traditions to put up a facade as if they were righteous. But behind closed doors, they was going to hell off, man. You understand? They were there focusing on the minute things. You can't take this many steps on a Sabbath day. You can't do this on this day. Do this on this day, man. And then they want to assume, because if you're looking at it, and somebody telling you all this stuff, you're like, damn, these guys, they must be righteous. And they tell me to do this and do that. And they open up the Torah and they got the damn, they used to wear they had phylacteries and they would have the law on the box attached to their forehead, strapped to their head. Yeah, the law is in my heart. What about you? Hey, if a brother do that, all right, brother. You could do that, but outwardly you want to be righteous, but inwardly you going to hell off, man. Now I'm gonna jump back in Matthew 15:3. It reads, but he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? So the commandment of the Most High and traditions are two separate things. It can be a tradition when you start camp to blow the shofar. It can be a tradition every Feast of Tabernacles, you get there first to set up your tent. It can be a tradition to spin around backwards before you bring out a precept, right? You spin around backwards 3 times before you bring out your favorite precept. And everybody got to do it. That's a tradition. You understand? Is that required lawfully? Is the Most High going to destroy you if you don't spin around backwards before you pull out your precept? No, he's not going to destroy you for that. You have a tradition. You have ordinances. I was talking to Yaradon about this the other day, man. Brothers have to know the difference between ordinances, traditions, laws, statutes, commandments, instruction, right? And he's about to cut him. This is verse 4. For the Most High commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death, right? That's the commandment. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. Meaning, well, you might have had a brother who wanted to take care of his folks, right? With gold or whatever the case may be. And then the Pharisees would look at that gold and Mark 7 that the brother went into, they would say Corbin or Korban, or look, it is a gift. Meaning that money that you was going to take to help your father and your mother and honor them, give that to me. That has to go to the temple, right? All your paycheck, give me that. That's like your Christian pastor. You want to help out your funds? Hey, give me your check. You know what time it is, right? Cough it up, put in my direct deposit, Now he can't take care of his folks, man. So you made him transgress the commandment by enforcing your tradition. And they would take that money and pocket it. It reads, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of the Most High of none effect by your traditions. Right? For this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. You're like putting that nasty ash on your forehead, so-called Ash Wednesday, and taking a palm on Palm Sunday, and you got to wave a palm on Palm Sunday. These are the traditions of men, right? Going Easter egg hunting. If you don't go Easter egg hunting, the Most High is going to deal with you. These are the various traditions of men, right? Prayer hour at 9 a.m. All of the women, Sister Gertha, Loretta, and Bertha, and Janice and Joanne, they're leading prayer hour at 9 a.m. And if you don't do it, they'll kick you out the church. Right? So you have all of these traditions that man has set up completely contrary to the Most High. You gotta
And I want to make one quick point to add on to what the brother said. It's a lot of congregations, if you don't do what they say, they'll kick you out, man. They'll kick you out as if you broke the commandments. And that's going in time into that Pharisee thing, man. And you have to call me general this or captain that or bishop that every time you talk to me. And if you don't, it's disrespectful. You know, a lot of people say, you know what, you got to do X, Y, and Z. You know, and if you don't, right, we're going to have to come up with some type of demand. Just things that have nothing to do with the scriptures. We've heard stories about elders making people do jumping jacks. Say, get down, right, do push-ups, right? And if you don't do it, you're going to hell off and you can't be under us, right? Strip him from being able to congregate, which is a commandment, right, just to fulfill whatever lustly desires and wants to be man-made doctrines that they want to fulfill. So you got to beware of these men, man. A lot of people out there are moving in that type of spirit, right? And those men, that's why it's very, very, very important to know the context. What is a Pharisee? What were they doing? What's the history behind it? Why are they saying these things? This is going to help you break down the scriptures. And the more context you get, context is like a precept too. Because you could take this same Pharisee, what they were doing in the Gospels, and go to Acts and link it right back up. You can go to the certain contexts and certain books go together. Wisdom of Solomon and Exodus go hand in hand. So when you go into this thing, it's precept upon precept. You could also go book upon book. It's a lot of books like Daniel, Revelation, Second Esdras. They will coincide together. You understand? And contexts as well. So when you're getting into this thing, you want to make full proof of the ministry and understand what it is that you're reading. Got it.
God, let me get this quick precept. This is Matthew chapter 23 and 1. Then spake Yahweh Shah to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Moses' seat meaning they have the authority and green light to execute judgment according to the law and teach the law, right? And therefore, whatsoever they bid you, observe. That observe and do, but do not yet after their works, for they say and do not. Yeah, we might say, hey, look, whatever Yaradan say, hey, listen to it. Yaradan said, keep the Sabbath day. Yaradan said, don't eat pork. Hey, Yaradan said, hey, look, hey, put your fringes on. Hey, Yaradan said, hey, look, hey, man, hey, be diligent, be on fire. But don't follow his words. He's not literally going to do what he's telling you that to do, man. He's telling you to be on fire, and then he's watching damn cartoons all day, man. But he's the main one telling you to be on fire. You spend one day with Yaradan, he cracking his toes, right? He damn scratching his dandruff on the couch. He sitting with his damn drawers up, his leg up, with a damn hoagie in his hand, and a Corona in the other, man. Trying to figure out what to do for the day. And then as soon as he's done, he damn wiped the crumbs off his beard, getting alive. Not saying he's doing this, and said, you got to be on fire, brothers. You got to do so-and-so. Hey, listen to that, man. Listen to when brothers say be on fire. Listen to when brothers say be diligent. Listen to that, because there's nothing wrong with that. But, hey, guess what? You got to see how they actually move, right? Because they say and do not. It's called hypocrisy. Verse 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne. What's a heavy burden? Come to camp at 1 a.m. I don't care if nobody's out there. Right? and bring your entire goods out of your house. Move out. And one brother told me, they elder told them, hey, you got to sign your house over to me when you come to my camp. You know? They said, sign, you got your lease and the deeds to your house. It got to be in my name. If you're in my congregation, everything you got to be under my name. Your life insurance policy, put me in your life insurance policy as the beneficiary. You know, I'm over your, I know you had your wife and your firstborn son, but I'm the lead beneficiary in your will. There were certain congregations you got to pay a fine. Like if you come late, you got to cough up $300. You get fined. You know, these are heavy burdens, man. A brother said, you join my camp, I got to grab you by the ear for the first 2 weeks. And after that, you pass and you're private or cadet. You get pulled around. Shalom, right? Oh, look at that brother going through the program. Shalom. Hey, that's a grievous burden, man. You know? It reads, and laid them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. You got certain elders telling they men go to camp, and they don't even go to camp. They don't even go out and do the work. But you telling brothers what to do, man. But they don't really back up what they're doing. For all their works they do, it's like you. It's my phone kind of crackling up. Or a laptop. Yardan, that might be you. You kind of came on. All right. Okay, God. I got one more verse. And lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. For all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. You got certain brothers, they just do stuff to be seen of men. Right? They behind closed doors, they're going to hell off, but now they want to be seen. Look at me, spirit. Look what I've done today. Well, where's it at in the scripture, man? Pharisees walking around, thick, long garments the size of a damn lamb, flashing in the wind. All white, beautiful garment on, long beard, fancy mitri, 1,000 chains on, rings and palms and Shalom. Then they leave, they take their garment off, and they eat damn shrimp Alfredo, beating up their woman. You got it, King. It's kind of breaking up. Can brothers hear me?
It
might be a delay.
He is breaking up bad.
All right, Salaki, bear with me. All right, the brothers have something else on that one.
Con, I got a precept. Right? It's book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 12. As many desire, right, to make a fair shoe in the flesh, they constrain you to be circumcised, only lest they should suffer the persecution of the cross of Yahushua. See, we had these Pharisees, they was forcing people to damn get circumcised, man, constraining them. It says, for neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law. So they doing all of this, making a big scene, kicking down doors, grabbing people up, pointing, making all of this ruckus and tumults, and they not even keeping the law, man. Very hypocritical, man. When you read the book of Romans, the 2nd chapter, it's cutting those men up, man. In-depthly, telling them how they literally tell you to do one thing, but they don't do another, man. You understand? It says, for neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised, that they may glory in your flesh. And that's wicked, man. Damn, want to press out another man that way, man, just to have him circumcised so you can glory in it. You're not even keeping the commandments. So you got to watch out for these Pharisees in this thing, man. They say one thing, but they doing another, man. It's a lot of Pharisees in this truth, man. The higher you get, men and they damn so-called get views, or somebody calls them an elder, or they have some type of respect, it'll lower those men's zeal and the might they start to be in this thing, man. You humble when you want it, man. When you first come into the league, right? You trying to ball out, you showing up to practice, you hungry. They call it an underdog. But sometimes, not for all men, but once you obtain some type of status, a lot of men they sit on their thrones as if they have the throne and start to point, and they themselves are the chief hypocrites. You got it.
I was gonna say when those people put heavy burdens on them in terms of like moving up. That's that fraternity spirit. And brother seen that movie School Days, they was doing strange activities, right, to work their way up to get that jacket. All to get that jacket. I'm not gonna list the things that they was doing, but you know what fraternities do. All right. That's just what it reminded me of, because that's what the Christian church do. That's what a lot of brothers in the truth do, right? And, like the brother that he brought out, grab him by the ear for a week or whatever the case may be, do 10 push-ups, run 30 miles, give me allowance, stuff like that. This is Romans chapter 2, verse 2. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth. It's like verse 3. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them, which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God, right? And if you understand it, the context behind Romans, Paul writing this letter to the Jews and to Israel ultimately, but primarily to tell these Jews, hey, stop getting on these Israelite forums, and you're not even doing you're not even doing what you saying to tell them to do, like brothers bringing out. That's all I got.
So we can move on. All right. Next question. Sometimes the live chat, it'll skip over a question. You have to go back and answer it again through the spirit. From doves and sheep, why did the devil tempt Yahushua if they both knew he wouldn't go off? Especially since Yahushua is the Most High's right hand. You got something right there?
This Romans 15:4, and it reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So a lot of I don't want to say every situation, but a lot of situations and scenes that happen in the scriptures, it literally happened for our understanding, that we can relate and understand. And it's pre-adventure, or a lot of brothers are going to go through what the apostles went through, what Yahushua went through. And so it was kind of just set up on the scene so we could better understand what to do in that situation. And this is one of those situations. Now, of course, Yahushua, he's not going to be, he's not going to fall short, and he's going to be like, maybe. Of course, he's not going to do that, right? It all happened for our learning and understanding, because we're going to be facing a similar situation where Satan is going to tempt us and try to bring the whole world before us. And let me get one more point. This is Matthew 26. This is another example. How things written aforetime written out for our learning and understanding. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 39. And it reads, and he, being Yahushua, went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. So this is the Lord, this Yahushua praying to the Lord, Heavenly Father, saying, Lord, if it be possible, pass this cup away from me. But Yahushua knew what he came on the scene to do. He knew exactly what he had to do, when he came on the scene. That was to give up his life for Yasharallah. All right, this is Luke chapter 24 real quick, verse 44. This is Luke chapter 24, verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Right, so he understood that he had to fulfill the things that were written of him in Psalms, Isaiah, Jeremiah, all those things, even in Isaiah 53, right, where he had to give up his life for Israel. Yes, you find him saying in Matthew 26, "Well, pass his cup from me." That's just another example of, Romans 15:4 is written aforetime for our learning and understanding, because we will be facing a similar situation. Oh, you on mute?
Oh, I was saying, Salaki, I was saying, man, to link up what Yaradan was going into and tell you in Luke 24 and 44, then open he their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. So, like he was saying, you have certain things that Yahushua had to live through and experience. Even when you go to Matthew 27, I'll paraphrase 27:45 on down, Yahushua said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Are you going to charge the Yahushua with no faith? No, it tell you in Psalms 22 and 1, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He had to fulfill that. It was written of him to fulfill and say and do certain things. Right now, also, I want to get this in the book of Hebrews, the second chapter, right? About Yahushua being tempted. This is Hebrews, the 12th chapter, and we'll start at it's like Hebrews chapter 2, and I will start at, let's see where I want to start, 10. Right, this is the book of Hebrews chapter 2 and 10. It reads, for it became him is Yahushua, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. So going through that hell that Yahushua went through, and being tempted in the wilderness, and being burdened by those demons, all of that suffering is to mold and perfect him. You understand? And to show man, chiefly, how our forefathers dwelt in the wilderness, that, hey, there's an ability to overcome Satan. You have strength and power to do so, man. Well, like we brought out earlier, your forefathers, or our forefathers, rather, Salakia, what the hell off in the wilderness? Being tempted of Satan, not for 40 days and 40 nights, but rather that of 40 years, right? Subdued by demons, murmuring, scoffing, dying of unbelief, rebellion, right? Blasphemy, the Most High charging him with folly. So your forefathers allowed Satan to work on them for 40 years in the wilderness, and they all died. Yahweh Shai was put on the scene to show man, hey, look, this thing can be done. All you have to do is apply the word. If our forefathers would have applied the law, they would have fared well. When Yahweh Shai cut up Satan, I'm not going to read those chapters, he went to Deuteronomy. He stayed in Deuteronomy, right? He stayed in the law. And he used the law to defeat Satan, showing man when the temptation comes and when the suffering comes, you apply the law and the word to be able to exercise and cause these demons to remove far from you. So I want to read on the Hebrews 2:11. For both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all one. For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren. It reads, saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren, in the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee. I'm gonna jump down. Verse 15. And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Right? It reads, wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of his people. For in that he himself hath suffered, being tempted, he is able to succor them that are tempted. So the simple fact that Yahushua being tempted and overcame it, he's the perfect example to show you this is what you do when you're tempted. I was tempted. I caught hell. Satan came at me directly. I fasted 40 days and 40 nights. I was in the spirit and I was being vexed and tormented by the tempter. So now when you're being tormented by the tempter, what better example, what better role model, for lack of better terms, what better figure do you have than a man who what? Overcame the manifold temptations by Satan. And Satan tempted Yahushua for plenty of times, man. It wasn't just the time he was 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, man. He hopped on Peter in Matthew 16:23. When Yahushua was on the cross, you understand, he said, get off the cross if thou be the Son of God. That's Satan. He's always has been tempted of Satan, man. So all of that was to show you that you can overcome those things too. If you believe. Go on, King. You got it.
You said what? You on mute. I'm gonna get a precept. It's Isaiah 46:10. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Right? So it's all predestined from the very beginning that it will happen. Right? That he's ultimately, the Lord knew that he was going to give up his ghost, like he gave up the ghost and down the cross. Right? So again, when you read certain parts in the so-called New Testament, and even in the scriptures, there would be certain scenes where you'd be like, well, why didn't he just do that? He already knew X, Y, and Z. Why he say this? You know, there's certain parts is written for our understanding of learning, because we'll be facing those similar situations, or perhaps another read.
Because hey, guess what? You'll find yourself in a situation being tempted, man. Right? You're going to be tempted. You understand? That's part of this thing, man. Right? And the Lord said in James chapter 1, let me get this real quick. It's the book of James, chapter 1 and 2. It reads, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. So you're going to fall into diverse temptations. Not every temptation is going to be smoking weed, right? Or just women. Do you wonder, why is the Lord throwing this one my way? I thought my lot was just weed. Brother, you got many temptations going your way, man. But guess what? Who's the forerunner and the author and finisher of faith? Hamashiach coming like I was shot, man. So it's not a matter of, well, the Lord knew he wasn't going to go off. These things were written for your learning. You understand? And Yahweh Shah is set up as the chief example, pursuing the 1 Peter chapter 2 and 22, Hebrews chapter 3, 12 on down, and numerous other precepts to show man how to walk uprightly in the land of the living. You got it, King. We can move on.
Yeah.
We dealt with giants. Elijah 3K, will all descendants of King David be princes in the kingdom? All right, let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 12. All right, let's go to Zechariah, chapter 12, and verse. I'm going to get straight to the point. Try to speed up on these questions. Zechariah 12 and 11. And that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad-Jermon in the valley of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shemaiah apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. So you're looking at the house of David. The house of David is symbolic for the elect. You understand? Chiefly the 144,000. Now, David had many sons. Solomon, which is Yahushua. You understand? He's going to be prince or king in the kingdom. You have men like Absalom, men like Abner. I mean, it's like men like Adonijah. You understand? Men like Amon. You had all of these men and these sons that Solomon had, and they were wicked, man. So just because you are a blood direct son of David doesn't mean when you're resurrected, you're going to be a mighty prince. You understand? Those men, Absalom, Adonijah, Amon, they all died in folly. And then a judgment. You understand? So just because, again, you're the direct son of David, or the seeds of a man, doesn't make you that chosen seed. Abraham had many seeds. Are all of the sons of Keturah going to be the elect? Because they came out of Abraham's seed. Are all of the sons of Isaac going to be the elect? Right? Well, no. You have a chosen bloodline of men that the Lord is dealing with, man. Right? That's when you read 2 Samuel chapter 7 and 12. It speaks about thy seed, but it's talking about Solomon. You got it out.
Con. Right? And to go in depthly about that a little bit more, this Numbers chapter 1 and verse 16. These were the reon of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel, right? So the Lord took these specific men and pulled them aside for their office. Just because they would come from a seed line doesn't make them a physical prince or this or that. No, they got elected and got pulled aside. You could be a wicked king or you could be a righteous king. You understand? And in Numbers chapter 7, verse 2, that the princes of Israel, heads of the house of their fathers, who were the princes of the tribes and were over them that were numbered, offered. Right? And it's going into the offerings when you read this chapter. But everybody's not going to be a prince. Everybody can't fulfill a specific office. Right? I want to get another precept real fast. Right? Bear with me. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, and verse 29. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? So you may have a lot of men, you understand, in this thing, but everybody's not a prophet. You may go out there, shake the hand, you may teach, you may bring forth a lot of fruit, man. And you may seal the elect and may be the elect, but you may not be a prophet. Everybody can't go into the prophecies. Everybody can't be a teacher. That doesn't mean you giving arms, you being on fire, you being a mighty counselor. That still doesn't make you any less of a man or any less of getting counted to the fold. So everybody can't be everything. Like the saying, like the saying say, everybody want to be a damn chief. Then nobody want to be an Indian. Everybody want to be the man. Everybody want to have this office. Everything's going to be ran in order. Just like it was a government of old, it's going to be a government in the kingdom. It says, have all the gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, but covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet should I you a more excellent way. So Paul is telling these men, look, everybody can't be everything, but whatever office you are, magnify that office.
And I want to say this: what made them princes back then is not the same qualification as what's going to make you a prince in the kingdom. You're born a prince by birthright because you're chiefly the son of a king. So just any son of David was a prince. You understand? Any son of Solomon or Rehoboam, they were princes because a prince is just a son of a king. And the kingdom of heaven, when you're resurrected, your lot is based off of your works, not based off of, okay, well, I was the bloodline king, son of David. Now I know I'm sealed. No, that doesn't work like that, man. You have to fulfill an appropriate amount of righteous works. Let me get this in 2 Ezra, chapter 9 and 7. Right? It's one difference between being born a king in the ancient world or being born a prince. Hey, man, Rehoboam didn't earn the right to be king. He was just next in line because Solomon gave up the ghost. Asa after him, many kings, they were just next in line. Hey, was Manasseh on fire? That's how he became king. Hezekiah laid the foundation. His son Manasseh, wicked as hell. Does that mean Manasseh's going to be? Now we know he repented, but did Manasseh's works earn him his spot as king, or was it his birthright? It was chiefly his birthright. Now we're all Israel. We're all going to be in the kingdom. You understand? Even the 2/3 when they get purged and they're born again as the offspring in the kingdom. But in this first resurrection, simply because you're an Israelite doesn't mean you're going to make it. Simply because you're the direct bloodline of David doesn't mean you're entitled to the kingdom. Right? You have wicked men of the house of David. You have men that betrayed David within the house of David. Let me get this real quick in 2 Ezra 9 and 7. Right? This 2 Ezra chapter 9 and 7. It reads, bear with me. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So that's the qualifications. Your works and your faith. You gotta
Come. Right? It's the book of Judges, chapter 9 and verse 5. And he went unto his father's house at Aphor and slew his brethren, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons, one upon a stone. Notwithstanding, Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. So this man wanted to reign so much he killed all of his brethren, man. So would this man be a noble, and this man would earn that office, is get it by any means? Whoever wants to be a prince, grab a spear and get it in. It's not how the Lord moving, man. Everybody can't get into this thing, man. It's all in predestination. So this man wouldn't deserve that king office, you understand, or to rule, but it was done in wickedness. I want to bring that up.
No folly questions. Right? No folly. Just keep it spiritual. We're not going to answer questions that don't pertain to the scriptures.
Right.
Trap Burr and Mott and Emoticon. We're not dealing with that, man. You know? So let's move on. All right. Next question from Derek Hughes. Will Judas be in the kingdom if all Israel will be saved? This is something I've always worried about. Right? Let's got something. I got this.
He's always wondered about.
This is Isaiah chapter 45 and 25. Right? Isaiah chapter 45. I'm going to get this verse 25. Hey, Judas is going to be in the kingdom of somebody's son. Right? He's going to be as somebody's son. Now, he's not going to really remember what he did back then. The Lord said it should not come to mind. In Isaiah the 65th chapter in Revelation 21. So he's not going to be born back in the kingdom like, damn, that's the Lord, man. And he kind of walking around, you know, kind of looking at his feet with his head down. Right? This is Isaiah 45 and 25. And the Lord shall all the seed of Israel, because all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory. That's plain. Hey, Nabal, he's going to be there. Abner. Damn, Jason, that's a spirit. Jason, Alchemist, Rhodicus. Who's another wicked man?
Simon in Acts 8.
Yeah, Simon Bar Jesus, or Simon in Acts 8 chapter, who's called he could buy the gift of the Most High with money. He's going to be there, man. Alexander the coppersmith, who did Paul much evil. Hymenaeus and Philetus, Hermogenes. All these men are going to be there. And Annas the high priest, Ananias the high priest, Caiaphas. You know, but they're going to be born as your offspring. You got it, King.
Con. Right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 22, right in verse 14. It says, and it was revealed in mine ears by the Lord of hosts. Surely this iniquity shall not be purged from you till ye die, saith the Lord of hosts. So a lot of men, they got a lot of iniquities, man. And the only way that's going to get purged, meaning clean, is when you die. You understand? So you will have to be born all over again with the law in your inward parts. A lot of men are going to repent. They love weed too much. They love drugs. They love this world and women, folly, music, clubbing, like the lust of their flesh. And that iniquity and all of those sins in those men, only way it's going to get purged is by that fire. They got to come back, you understand, all over again. And I ask people all this time, what doesn't make sense, right? We break it down through the scriptures, most importantly, but what doesn't make sense is you telling me the Lord's going to save the heathen to be slaves, but he's going to kill his people all forever, and they'll never come back. He's going to save the remnant of the heathen to be slaves. They'll live, but his own people he'll kill all forever, and the heathen will have to keep the commandments as slaves. But they're going to keep the commandments to live, but his own people want to die. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense how much the Lord loves his people to save a remnant of the heathens, to repopulate, to be our servants, and they'll have to keep the commandments and learn the law. But we'll get put to death. That makes no sense. And we go into the precepts is more importantly given a sense also. So that iniquity for that man and that woman and that child, only way it's going to get purged out is if you die.
See that? See that right there? You know? So we can move on. This is the book of Revelation. Oh, Slaki. Habakkuk ENT. It's Revelation 3 and 13 going into Babylon the Great or Constantine the First, New Rome. Let's deal with it. Let's go to Revelation the 3rd chapter, 13 verse. right? That is the church, I believe, of Philadelphia. Actually, 3 and 13.
Pergamos.
That's the Laodiceans. It's Revelation chapter 3 and 13. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. I think you meant 13. I got to mute their background. I think that's my sound jamming up. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, right? These things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. Well, brother, it's not talking about Babylon the Great or Constantine. He might have meant 13 and 3. Because 3 and 13 isn't dealing with neither one. It's dealing with the church's works. So, brother, you know, you might, I don't know if you meant 13 and 3 with the beast, you know, it's lucky.
You kind of, like, brother, you might have to rephrase yourself or kind of really further explain.
Right.
Or when we, if we see a question again, we can get back to it.
Yeah, the sound real bad. You can hear me?
Kind
I sound choppy.
of. That's the other one. I suppose Malcolm put it up. HBK, Ant, Heartbreak Kid. Do we always look the same when regenerated? If not, what form will we have in the kingdom? I'm gonna get 1 Corinthians 15. First off, I want to also point out by saying there's no knowledge of who we look like in our past life, and we look the exact same. There's no knowledge or precept on that, right? If we had the same nose and the same ears, and that's just all right. 3 and 21. I'm gonna get that next. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40. It's like it for 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. The glory of the celestial is one, the glory of the terrestrial is another. So in the kingdom, we're going to have a terrestrial body, in other words, a humanoid type of body, the same body that we have now, but it's going to be perfect, right? It's going to be magnified. It's going to be so much more greater. And I can't go into every detail and explain how it's going to be greater, but nonetheless, we know it's going to be a more perfect body. All right. How do we know? This is Zechariah. Is that 3, 8, 7 on down? Because through certain precepts, you understand how the kingdom's going to look, what people are going to be doing, etc. This is Zechariah chapter 2, verse. Is that what I want? Oh, it's like 8. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 3. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned into Zion and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men, right? See, it says old men. And what else? An old woman dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age, and the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Right? We know boys, girls, man, woman, they have what? A humanoid body. Like when you look in the mirror, that's how it's going to look, right? For lack of better words. And this is one more, Sirach chapter 3, verse 21. Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength, trying to understand or even Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that question. It seems sincere, but you don't want to, think about it too much or too long. Trying to figure out, are you going to have glasses in the kingdom or just to look cool, or if your nose is going to be long or wide? You know, it's one thing to wonder, but it's another to kind of be fixated on it. Not to say you are, but that's Sirach 3:21. That's information that we don't have. This is Sirach 5 and 14. It's like at 5 and 12. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. All right, so we really can't say. I have not seen, you have not heard. Brothers got it.
Yeah, I got one precept on that. This second Ezra 4 and 2. And said, thy heart hath gone too far in this world. And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High? So, like Yaradan said, your heart can't go too far off, man. You're trying to wander out. You're not going to remember. That's Ecclesiastes 1 and 11. There is no remembrance of former things. Neither should there be any remembrance of those things which are to come and those that shall come hereafter, paraphrasing. So you're not going to know what you're going to look like in your past life. You can't say, well, I'm 6 foot now, but I can't wait till I'm born back. I can't wait till I'm 6'5". You start drawing out. You get portraits, 6'5", and he's looking up different names. You're going to name yourself. You can't do that, man. You can't plan your life in this thing, man. 2 lives from now, I can't wait. I'm going to be light skinned. This is the dark skin life. I ain't like the dark skin life. Maybe when I'm brown skin, I'll get more success. That's off, man. You planning your life in ahead, your skin tones, you doing the Sims, you matching up your eyelashes. Can't with the eyelashes. You're doing like you make a damn video game, man. Like the dude spinning around, you got the damn adjust. You damn turn his body fat up to 99, then his stomach get big. Then he's spinning around. He said, I don't like that. And you put it back to damn 50 and it go back to get small again. You don't know about these things, man.
It's not Sims. It's like I was going to say, it's not Sims. It's not Sims.
Right. You're not going to know who you are. Now, what you do know is that you always come back in your respective nation. That's about as most as you can get. Let's go to Numbers chapter 36. You're not going to be an Edomite, and then the last generation, the lot cast, now you an Israelite. You in the heavens, and you casting lots. And then time running out, 2 seconds left. You throw the last lot, then you find out you a Judite. And you come back. You lived your whole life of wickedness as an Edomite. 4 seconds left, you cast a lot in the third heaven behind the Most High black, and your spirit, you went into the Judite spirit room. Not that we know if there's rooms or not, but you kind of broke into the Judite spirit room. It's okay, now the Lord opened the door. It's okay, now you can be a Judite. And you was a nasty, wicked Edomite. It don't work like that. Right? Let's go to Numbers chapter 36. Let's deal with it. Right? This is the book of Numbers, chapter 36. And I'll read. I want to get straight to the point. Numbers chapter 36 and 7. It reads, so shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to inherit to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. So you're going to remain amongst your father's tribe. You got it, Yardan. You have something else? From JoJo to Mason. My cuz asked me this, and I don't know what to say. 2-part question about the Shabbat. Does no self-pleasure mean no wine or TV? Also, how do you feel about driving on this day? Does the ignition count as fire? So the brother said, does no self-pleasure mean no wine or TV? Let's go to Isaiah 58. Right, bear with me. Let me get this brother back in here. Right, this let's see, we get the brother back on. Right, this Isaiah chapter 58. Marathon, you on real quick?
I was
All right, let me see if I can get a ride back here. Bear with me.
All right, bet. All right, I'm gonna read it again. My cousin asked me this, and I don't know what to say. 2-part question about the Shabbat. There's no self-pleasure mean no wine or TV. This is Sirach chapter 37. Let me see verse 27. Touching specifically on wine. My son, prove thy soul and thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. Right? Particularly touching on wine, because there is no sin to drink wine on a Shabbat. However, what is that day for? To rest and relax your body. Right? Now, again, there's no sin to drinking yayan on the Shabbat, but for brothers and sisters, know how you get when you drink yayan. One glass turned into two, and two turned into four. Next thing you know, you're taking shots. So you have to really understand, okay, is this really profitable for me to be doing on the Shabbat, knowing my nature when it comes to taking that wine and being around wine? So the Most High, let me bring this out. This is Psalms, let's see, chapter 26, verse 2. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me, try my reins and my heart. So the Most High knows, what's deeply embedded in your heart. And if you drinking yan on a Shabbat, for your own pleasure, for your own destruction, versus you drinking it, modestly, right? In wisdom, And now for TV, again, the Shabbat is for what? To relax your body, to relax your mind, read, study, pray, fast. Is it technically a sin? And Jake say, well, la'ah. However, what should you be doing that day? Hey, brother, watch a video, watch truth videos. You understand? Watch something biblical, some history. You shouldn't want to just treat it as as a Thursday, as a Friday, whatever, like a Friday in the world.
Right.
You understand? You don't want to treat it like a Friday in the world. You got to treat it in wisdom and respect the Lord and understand that He gave you this day to what? You can get closer to Him. This is really the only day that you really get closer to the Lord. Friday sundown and Saturday sundown. Obviously you can do it all throughout the week, but you don't really have as much time, seeing that you may have family, kids, work, other situations. You taking care of somebody, you always running, you busy, and the Lord gave you the Shabbat. The last thing you want to do is to waste time and not get closer to Him. You have some?
Yeah, I was just going to add. Yeah, there's no sin. Let me get this in Romans 5:13. Right, doing your pleasure. Let me get this in Romans chapter 5:13. Let's get this precept. You have something called a pastime in the Bible. Pleasure, Sarah called sex pleasure. In the book of Genesis, she said, shall I have pleasure also? And my Lord being old. And she was talking about having sex. So you can't be laying down with your woman on the sexually on the Sabbath. If you like to lift weights, you're not lifting weights on the Sabbath. If you like to, you like to damn knit and fly kites, you're not flying kites on the Sabbath day. Right? Your pleasure is doing what the hell you want to do. That's what it means. Things outside of righteousness. The Most High has His pleasure, and you got your pleasure. The pleasures of man are carnal, and the pleasures of the Most High are spiritual. So when it goes into doing pleasure of carnal things, it's things outside of the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Things that are not expedient and things that you do just because you want to do it. Right? Now, let me get this in Romans chapter 5. Right? Let me get this in Romans, the 5th chapter, the 13th verse. Right? Romans chapter 5 and 13. It reads, for until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. So you can't charge a man on a particular sin if there's no law on it. Now, like the brother said, Shalom, King.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Well, that's a little bit better. Con. So yeah, when it goes into doing your pleasure, you want to have some discernment. I heard a brother say he can have sex on the Sabbath. And he says, well, you guys like to say you can't do your pleasure. Isn't eating ice cream a pleasure on the Sabbath? He said, what if that's my pleasure? Can I do that? Right? Brother, you can eat ice cream on the Sabbath. You can't lay down with your woman on the Sabbath. You can't enjoy a pastime on the Sabbath. That day is set apart. It literally says it's a holy day. It's set apart from the other days. It's a high day. Second Maccabees 6 and 11 on down. The most sacred day. You got it, King. Right now, you have a quick point. You have certain high days that fall on the Sabbath when you can't drink wine. 2, like your new moon is a Sabbath. Or you may have another high day. Passover is a Sabbath. So it's not a sin to drink wine on the Sabbath, but you want to make sure you're dealing in wisdom and having discretion. And you shouldn't be watching TV on the Sabbath unless you're watching the servants of the Lord, or watching some type of biblical account, or going into the history or prophecies or the milk or the law, statutes, and commandments. I know brothers that hook up the Fire Stick on the Sabbath and they watch the videos all day. They keep it on repeat, and there's nothing wrong with that, because you have the pleasures of man and you have the pleasures and how to please Most High. That's what the word pleasure goes back to. Please. Are you pleasing yourself for your own gratification, or are these pleasures pleasing the Most High? One more point, because you can say, well, look, my pleasure is reading and studying and writing breakdowns. But I can't do that on the Sabbath. So brothers, stop listening to these sorcerers beguiling you and bewitching you with naughtiness. You got it out.
I was going to say, in regards to driving. Oh, Khan, you got it.
Khan.
Salaki, you got it, y'all done.
I was going to say, in regards to driving, you should really primarily only be driving to camp, prevention there's an emergency, because you can do lawful on the Shabbat as well. So let me get it real quick. So Luke chapter, I want to get the other one. This is book of Luke chapter, it's like Matthew 12 and 11. And it reads, and he said unto them, what shall there be among you that shall have one sheep that if it fall into a pit on the Shabbat day, it's like the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? Right? So there's certain situations where you'll find yourself actually having to kind of leave a house to go do X, Y, and Z, right? But again, that's really for emergencies. And Jake, now that you heard my brother say emergency, that's not meaning, oh, I'm hungry, let me buy some ice cream, I'm starving, it's an emergency. I'm craving, feeding for some what do Jake eat? Hot pickles, Slim Jims. That's not an emergency. It got to be a life or death situation. You know what a true emergency is, Israel. Don't play with the Lord. You cut your hand, you gotta go to the hospital. Those type of emergencies. If your car break down, you on your way to camp. Don't just sleep on the road and sleep in the car. You got to make moves. You got to make it happen. Because his brothers, that was on their way to camp, and their car broke down. Did they just say forget the car and just sell it? You gotta call it AAA or whatever, whoever you gotta call. You gotta call these people, make sure that gets done. And guess what? The brother still made it to camp. So again, in terms of driving on the Shabbat, it has to be done in righteousness, either camp, congregating, or an emergency, a real emergency. Don't drive it just to drive around and cruise around because you want to be in a movie and listen to the music up, and you looking out the window, you driving on the bridge, and you think you're the main character. That's not what you should be doing on Shabbat.
God, and to add to that, man, you got certain brothers, they'll drive, they'll drive to their old damn ex house, their mama in the world house on the Sabbath. You understand? Their damn they baby daddy house on the Sabbath. You going to Chuck E. Cheese? Hey, I know these one bro, they bought damn candy on the Sabbath. Talking about we had a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Buying hot cocoa, saying, "Hey, look, I can't teach, man. I need hot cocoa. It's cold out. What do you want me to do about it?" Hey, brother, endure, man. Endure. Stop taking everything what is lawful to do well. Oh, my woman says she burning in her lust right now. I don't want her to go to hell off. I'll do what I have to do and please her. Brother, that's not doing well, brother. What are you talking about, man? You know? Sitting there thinking the Most High. It's one thing to, let me get this verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So you don't want to be righteous over much. Then you don't want to be the brother who comes up with all of these strange traditions on the Sabbath, like Amalek. I believe on the Day of Atonement they don't wear shoes, man. I believe that was my sister. My sister told me something about she talked to an Amalekite. It might have been, I don't know who it was. Somebody told me about the Amalekites keeping the Day of Atonement, and they had a checklist. And on their checklist it says, "Okay, we're not wearing shoes." Well, that's being righteous over much. That shows you that they don't know what's going on in this thing, man.
Yeah.
They say you can't turn the light bulb on the Sabbath.
Yep.
Right? You can't take a shower. You might have to sleep on the floor. You understand?
I don't think you can open a refrigerator.
Yeah, you can't open a refrigerator. So you pretty much got to sit there like a gargoyle, right? Like a gargoyle from the damn show back in the damn 90s and sit there like a statue, man. Does the Lord want you to be a gargoyle on a Sabbath? No, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 17. It reads, "Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?" So you don't want to be overmuch wicked either. You don't want to sit there and say, "Well, they did say it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. I'll just fix my car and I'll be a damn, what they call it, a grease monkey." You slide in that little nasty roller thing on your back. Come on, it's damn rich. Fixing your car, saying, "Well, I don't want it to break down next Sabbath." It never broke down ever. You miscap to try to work on a car, hoping that it don't break down next Sabbath. Brother's asking you, "Where you at?" You're supposed to be teaching today. You say, "Hold on, I'm fixing the car so it don't break down." Now that's being overmuch wicked. Now you're being a damn fool. Now you're going to die before your time. You weren't supposed to die at the age of 80. Now the Most High said, "Look at this guy. Hey, angels. Look at this guy. This guy's going off." Yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy on the Sabbath, man. Hey, the Lord had a damn car smash on you, man. You get stuck in your damn insides, turn to your outsides, right?
Putting on a jumpsuit.
Yeah, you put on that nasty blue mechanic suit, man.
Putting a toothpick in your mouth. Really getting to the road.
And that beanie on, that wicked beanie that they got or that black Scully.
Yeah.
Right? So the Lord isn't dealing with that, man. And let me read that again, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 17. "Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?" Talking about, well, I gotta cook on the Sabbath, right? I gotta eat. And then you damn cooking up mac and cheese, stirring a ham with the greens. You're peeling off the potatoes because you're about to make the sweet potatoes. You went off to buy some sugar to mix it with the brown sugar, and then you had a big feast. So much lawful to do well, right? You got it, King.
And your face all dirty now.
Right. That's right. So you don't want to turn to a grease monkey on the Sabbath. You don't want to be a fool.
Yeah.
It has to be. And if you don't know how to move, get counsel. Right? Let's go to Sirach 32 and 19. Let's get that, man. This Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 and verse 19. Right? Because you might not know what to do in a particular situation. But what did the Lord say? Sirach 32 and 19. It reads, "Do nothing without advice, and when thou hast once done, repent not." So if you think that if you have a hard time making a decision, okay, is this lawful or can this wait? If you don't know what to do, reach out. That's the purpose of brotherhood and congregating. Hey, look, I'm thinking about, getting this on the Sabbath. Is that expedient or not? Nah, that can wait. So and so and so and so. Come to camp, I got you. Right? So you want to be able to reach out to and seek counsel in particular situations and get advice. Getting advice is part of this truth too, right? You got to know how to receive advice, right? You got to.
Does the ignition count as fire? Right, as some of the Ecclesiastes 7 and 16 on down, you don't be over righteous. You got to get the A to B. In a timely fashion. You don't want to be over righteous.
Yeah.
Some brothers say, "Can you turn on your heat?" You don't want to be over righteous either, in a sense, because technically, turning on the light that's generating heat.
Right, and the scriptures say, "Kindle a fire." Right, so you can't kindle a fire in your house on the Sabbath. Right, so and you might think something is doing well, like the man, he was gathering sticks.
Yeah,
mind his own damn business. Hour later, go ahead.
Oh, it's like good.
Hour later, he's in the spirit world.
Yeah, probably having a good day too.
Ate that manna, went out there. Okay, HBK, next question. Will we get the laws in our inward parts? Hold on. Will we get laws in inward parts toward end of second wilderness? Otherwise, why would we have to eat the Leviathan? So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's deal with it. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, and deal with it. Right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and 38. It reads, bear with me, let me get there. All right, Ezekiel chapter 20 and 38. Pages. And I will purge, I'll start at 36. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Lord God. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. You see that? So the Most High is telling you that in the second wilderness, that's when you're finally going to enter into the bond of the covenant. Once you get beamed up, you're not going to be in the new covenant. There is a sequence of events or prophetic events that have to transpire one after the other. And you have to understand the prophetic chronology, for lack of better terms, to understand, okay, now you get beamed up in a glorified body. Okay, then you'll be above the firmament. Okay, then you'll get beamed back down. Okay, then Gog and Magog. Okay, then Yahushua is going to come down. So you have to know the sequence of events. We may do an in-depth breakdown on, we'll call it the, life. I believe we may have done something like this, life after the destruction of Babylon, or a complete breakdown of what is it going to be like after you get beamed down from the chariots and what's going to happen, right? We'll call it, well, what is it going to be like after you get beamed back down in the wilderness? Who's going to be there? What spirit are you going to be in? Are you going to pass under the bond? Because the Lord in that second wilderness, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. Right? It reads, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So the same way that order was instituted within the first wilderness, when you read the book of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, order was instituted. Rank, laws, commandments, ordinances, sins, all of these things were laid out. And if you complied with it, guess what? And you survived. If you didn't comply with it, you were destroyed. So in that second wilderness, and those that entered into the promised land was Joshua and Caleb. Everybody else died. So in that second wilderness, men are going to rebel. Now, we don't know what order or what words are going to be spoken and how the Most High is going to put the spirit of brothers to rebel. But the Lord does it now. Something that's a strange thing. The Lord does it now. He hardens hearts. He hardens the heart of man now. That's Isaiah 63:17. Oh Lord, why hast thou hardened our heart from thy fear? So the Lord can put in your heart, like he did Pharaoh, no matter what time it is and what day of the week it is, to harden your heart. And the Lord's going to select a certain amount of men to harden your heart. Now, rather they start scoffing, rather they try to fight the Lord, rather they try to kind of come up with a plan, or rather they try to, conspire against the apostles. We don't know. But we do know they're going to get purged out. And those that remain, I got a precept real quick after you, Yarda. Those that remain, they're going to be the ones sanctified. Right? Let me get this quick precept real quick. Right? This is the book. Block here. I'm going to get this in Isaiah. Right? Bear with me. This is the book of boy, it's lucky. Let me get this precept real quick. I believe it's Isaiah chapter. I have to find it. You got it, Yarda.
I was gonna make a quick point. If Jake rebelled now, you more than likely definitely gonna do in the wilderness. And you can say, well,
Right.
no, you don't know, I don't know. But well, you gotta remember when we get beamed back down, we're not gonna be in our spiritual body. We still gotta meet with the Lord. It's still like a lot of other events that has to transpire. So Jake, the Lord might set it up in this order, and Jake will be like, well, I don't know. Now Jake can say, well, no, I'm in the face of the Lord. No, I'm gonna listen. And you would think so, right? And I speak for myself as well. This goes for everybody. You would think after seeing all the miracles, Israel would be like, nah, I'm down with it. I'm down with the cause. Moments later, after Moses left, what did Israel do? It was a damn calf. After seeing water split. So, hey, what do they say to be a good leader? Got to be a good follower.
That's right. Now, I got this precept. Isaiah chapter 32 and 17. I'll start at 14. Isaiah 32 and I'll start at 13. It's lucky. This is Isaiah 32 and 13. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy and the joyous city. Meaning the land is going to be desolate. The people, but also the land. Because the palaces shall be forsaken, right? The multitude of the city shall be left. The forts and towers shall be for dens forever. A joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks. So the land is going to be laid low desolate, right? Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high. And the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. So the elect, they're going to turn into a fruitful field, but also that land, when you read Ezekiel 36 and 33, is going to turn back to that Garden of Eden, that luscious, if that's a word, that beautiful estate, right? It reads, and then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the fruitful field. So judgment is going to remain, and only the righteous, or the judgment is going to take place, and only righteousness is going to remain. Anybody that's going to hell off, guess what? They're going to be out of there. It's going to be lights out. And you have to deal with it, man. I got another precept. You got one, Yarda? I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 4. Let's go to Isaiah the 4th chapter. Right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 4. Right, it reads, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory shall be a defense. Like in the first wilderness, we had a huge chariot or a huge cloud over us. In the second wilderness, every dwelling place is going to have a chariot, right? Above them, it reads, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. So you're gonna be in that second wilderness, and that same spiritual I would use the word, that same spiritual undertone of the first wilderness is going to be implemented in the second wilderness. You know, so we can move on from Saint Mark. Can you brothers, or any of you brothers in the live, tell me why David is described as ruddy in the Bible? So you looking up something, Yarda?
I gotta pull it up.
All right. So the word ruddy doesn't mean what you think it means. The word ruddy, I'm gonna pull this up. It means a shade. So I can pull this up real quick. I'm gonna just pull up so-called ruddy. Now you have ruddy creatures, right? Ruddy animals. This is a ruddy duck, right? You have ruddy colored horses. You have ruddy colored dogs. Look at all of these ruddy colored animals, right? Ruddy colored mongoose, a ruddy colored duck, a ruddy colored dog.
Yes, stop thinking ruddy is red.
Right.
It's like red, like Esau.
Yeah, it's not
That's
red.
not
Like
ruddy.
right. The word ruddy, even if you go to like a ruddy horse, it just means brown. It's like a red undertone to a brown, like a copper color, right?
If you get Steve, if you get a penny, put it next to my face, damn, that's damn near ruddy.
Right. Look, this is a ruddy oak tree. That's the color. So the word ruddy, and when you go into it, right, you got to yard down. Let me do this real quick.
Oh, God. I mean, it's nothing too elaborate. We don't need to go into a million precepts to really break that down. That's just, color and getting the proper context and understanding. And a lot of jigs, they'll use that to kind of say, oh, David was an Edomite. See, David's an Edomite now. He's ready. Come on, brother. If he's an Edomite, that makes Yahushua Edomite. It doesn't make any sense. Yahushua's from the tribe of Judah.
God.
So the Judites are light skinned. That's not so. That's not what Jeremiah 14:2 tells us.
And I remember we got into that debate with David Lynn, and he wanted to go into the word ruddy, and it's not talking about what you think it's talking about. And he actually went into the blue letter. Now, he went into that word ruddy. Now, when you go into it in the blue letter, it says red or ruddy. Now, Adawam in the Hebrew is Edom, right? Now, Adawam or Edom, that goes back because Esau came out red. You understand? So now that word red, when you look it up in the blue letter, they went off. It says red or ruddy of Esau as an infant. So they kind of added that. When you see parentheses, that's somebody's own thoughts being inserted within a def. They didn't have to add that. Anytime you're reading a book or a novel and something's in parentheses, guess what? They're kind of giving you their inside thought of it. That doesn't make it valid. Right now, if David is ruddy, and that means red, it says, and he sent, this 1 Samuel 16:12, and he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and with all of a beautiful countenance. So since when is having red skin a beautiful countenance? Well, that's why Esau is called Esau. Because when he came out the womb, Isaac said, Ishashwa, he is wasted. He came out red. That's not beautiful. So if you're saying you're pretty much saying either Isaac didn't know what the hell was going on, or David, he looks like an Edomite. But his son, Solomon said, I am black but comely. But either Solomon's not the son of David, or we got a lot of questions that got to be asked.
And answered,
Yeah. So you gotta deal with that that understanding. Ruddy doesn't mean red and pink red, right? It just means brown. All
So,
right, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
so this is not what David looked like. Oh, I can't pull it up.
Yeah, and the brother made a good point. When is Esau in the Bible called ruddy? When? When did that happen? We done read the Bible 10 times over. When have we ever read? Let me type it in the concordance. Esau and ruddy. It's like a yard. Then I cut you off.
No, you good. And that's exactly what they mean when they say when they're saying ruddy. They're thinking of as an Edomite, light skinned man. You know,
Madness.
that's why they kind of pull that out thinking that's their shotgun. We say bring out the shotgun, Romans 9:4, Revelation 13. To them, their shotgun is ready. Yeah. They can't get around that.
Right.
See, red. The white man's red, so David was red. So he's an Edomite.
Why are they doing that to David? Why would you do that? It said David was a comely person and beautiful to look unto. Now, if you see somebody red out burning up in the sun, now check this out. Now, Esau, his standard of beauty, you see his magazines. What's one of his damn
GQ?
GQ. It's another one too. They be doing
Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes, and they got the Edomites on there. They top looking Edomites. Now, how come none of them are red? I mean, none of them are like damn dark red. Because it said ruddy is beautiful to look into. Where's all of the sunburned, red, nasty Edomites on the cover of these magazines? If red is beautiful to look into, how come they're not showing the sunburned Edomites? With they sun just damn dark. That should be the top standard of beauty. But it looks sick. Right? Even Esau knows that red skin isn't beauty. That's why they don't show that these guys they're showing, they put dark makeup on them. A lot of these fashion shoots, they putting dark, different concealers on them, makeup. Like they had a fashion shoot with Kim Kardashian. And then she put the damn brown, they made a damn, she
can't. Yeah, I've seen that.
So-called black woman. Because even Esau knows that. They even know that they don't even like the way that they look. That's when they're tanning themselves. They're burning up in the sun. The damn sun was at the tanning booth. They get burnt up in the sun, right? They're trying to escape because they even know that it's not beautiful. So if the enemy and the wicked know how they look isn't beautiful, you think David was ruddy, which means what you're saying means dark red, but it also says he was beautiful. It makes no sense. Complete and absolute madness and folly. Right? So we can move on. Right, we can move on. And like y'all said, they thought they had you. All right, DC Judah. I have a brother in the truth that thinks the Japhites are the ancient Greeks and the ancient Europeans. So what scripture can I go to prove him wrong?
Genesis.
It's like the ancient Greeks prior to the so-called white man coming in are Japhites. They are the original so-called Europeans. But you got a king slot here.
Wait, let me read it. I think the Japhites are ancient Greeks and ancient. And like the brother said, those original Japhites are the original Greeks. This is Genesis 10, and I'll start at verse 5. I'll start at Slakia 3. No, Slakia 2. My son of Slakia, the sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan. Right? I'm gonna go back to that word in a minute. Javan and Tubal and Meshach and Tyrus and the sons of Gomer and Ashkenaz and Riphath and Togarmah, the sons of Javan, Elisha and Tarshish and Kittim and Dodanam. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. Go to the word isles, such as islands. Right? Esau, they never inhabited any islands in the beginning. That wasn't their lot. That wasn't their hometown, for lack of better words. right? Japheth, they always dwelt in them islands. Let me continue. These are the isles of the Gentiles divided in their land, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nation. And I got a quick book to pull up. This is from Babylon to Timbuktu, because this book also touches on proving that Japheth is, it's like Japheth was dwelling in them islands and that they're the original Greeks. If I'm not mistaken, this is Babylon and Timbuktu, right? That's the dude that wrote this. That's Jake. That's Israel. It's page 20. Where should I start? I'm gonna start up. Yeah, it's page 20. The second paragraph. The third son of Japheth was Madai, the father of the Medes. They were located at the southern part of the Caspian Sea. Right? I'm gonna pull up the picture for Jake. Where's the Caspian Sea?
You got to get into that geography.
If I'm not mistaken, that's south of Spain. I don't want to.
Caspian Sea is around Russia, Georgia, Eastern Europe.
Yeah. So like, yeah. I'm thinking of the other one. I can't remember the name either. But yeah, like the brother said, like no, that's Russia, Kazakhstan. That's the Caspian Sea. All right, so they dwelt over there. They also dwelt further on them islands. We're gonna get to that. And it reads, and they later united with the Persians to form one race. The Javan, the fourth son of Japheth, came the Ionians and all the Greeks. See that? They're the original Greeks. Tubal, the fifth son of Japheth, is associated with Javan. And let me jump down. Get to the point. Josephus identified the descendants of Tubal with the early Iberians. They were the inhabitants of territory between the Caspian and Euxine seas, which were Georgia and southern Russia. The last son of Japheth was Tyrus, the son of the ancestors of the Thracians. This land, Thrace, was situated north of Turkey, Asia Minor, and Greece, slightly northeast of Greece. That's as much as it really go. But understanding that they traveled, they went further over there to Rome. Yeah, them islands in Italy. It's another part too I gotta find.
And I want to add, I did there's a breakdown we did called "No Alexander the Great was not an Israelite." Right, we kind of went in depth into it, man. So if you check out that video, "No Alexander the Great is not an Israelite," we went into the archaeological findings and studies, the anthropological studies. We went into the precepts most importantly, and showed you that yes, the original Japhites inhabited Europe. You understand? Greece, Italy, modern day so-called Spain, and then the so-called white man eventually went up in that land as the Roman so-called Roman kingdom or the Argead dynasty on either sides of the Mediterranean and slew the Etruscans, the Samnites, the ancient descendants of the Mycenaeans and the Minoans, and exiled them. And a lot of them, they went to other isles, Polynesian islands, because originally they were in the Peloponnese. Then they went to like the Polynesian islands, different islands and peninsulas, because that's the spirit that the Most High had them be in. That word Japheth goes back to the Hebrew word Yapah, which means beautiful. Because that land, the lands that they were given were so-called beautiful lands. When you look at Hawaii, Fiji, you understand these different islands. And that's why Jake liked to go to vacation, mainly to the Isles of the Gentiles, the Isles of Japheth. You know? The land of Ham, that means hot, or Kam in the Hebrew, which means hot. And the land of Shem, it means place or put. Because each son of Noah, their land that they were given, it corresponded with their name. Because Shem or Sham in the Hebrew means place, because within Shem's land, that's where the Most High would place his name. Within Ham's land, or Kam, it would be hot in that region. Within Yapath or Japheth's names, well, he would have the beautiful isles or the Isles of the Gentiles. You know? Just wanted to make that quick point.
This is another part. Khan. Let me bring this out. This is page 22 from the same book from Babylon and Timbuktu. And when you read certain historical books, there's going to be a few instances where you understand. Okay, that's not what it really is going on. They really mean this. That's because Mosai gave them, only so much knowledge. But nonetheless, there is a lot of imperative, important facts that really, that can be utilized when it comes to teaching or edifying. This is page 22, the last paragraph. Major mutations or changes took place among the descendants of Japheth. This is because of their white skin. In other words, they were black at one time, but their skin changed to white. Now, that didn't happen magically, right? How did that happen? Right? A lot of them Japhites, they turned to that lighter skin color because Esau went up in there and kind of took over. Even a lot of Japhites that you see today, they look almost like, light-skinned Jakes. But they was originally a lot darker. You was about to say something? You on mute. You on mute, Up.
Saying, can you read that part you read again about how they went from black to white?
Let's see. They were black at one time, but their skin changed to white.
Now there's something called the Roman Sabine Wars. If you look up, you can look this up on your own. The Roman Sabine Wars. So the Sabines, the Latins, the Etruscans, the Samnites, the Umbrians. Those are original Japhetic tribes that lived in Southern Europe prior to the so-called white man coming in. So it says the Roman Sabine Wars were a series of wars during the early expansion of ancient Rome, meaning when the so-called white man first kind of got up in there. In central Italy against their northern neighbors, the Sabines. It is commonly accepted that the events predating the Roman Republic are semi-legendary in nature because they don't want you to know the true origin of how the so-called white man got in Europe. So there's always some fable or Salakia. Salakia, there's always some fable or tall tale about how the so-called white man got in Europe, man. He got nursed by a she-wolf and all types of madness, man. Because they don't want you to come out and say, look, we the Edomites and we slew the Japhites. That's one of the ancient wars that nobody talks about, the Edomite Japhetic Wars. Everybody talks about World War I, World War II, the Philistines and David, but nobody talks about the Edomite Japhetic Wars. Those are ancient classical wars that the so-called white man doesn't want to put out there. Now, when it's said in that book, they so-called turn from black to white. The original Japhites are dark skinned, but check this out. This is called the rape of the Sabine woman. Following the so-called, this is the rape of the Sabine woman, also known as the abduction of the Sabine woman or the kidnapping of the Sabine woman, was an incident in a Roman, now he says Roman mythology. But this what happened against the Japhites. And this is how they kind of got that some of that fair skin, in which the men of Rome committed a mass abduction of young women from the other cities in the region. It has been frequent subject of artists and sculptors, particularly during the Renaissance and post-Renaissance era. And they actually made coins about it, how they slew the Japhites. So they're the original rape robbers and murderers. But they'll call it Roman mythology. So a lot of them Japhites, they kind of got mingled amongst them, and a lot of them kind of got exiled.
This is another part in the origin. It's like the Babylon and Timbuktu. This is page 23. It says, there was an Indo-European invasion, the Germanic of the Middle East between the years 2000 and 1500 BC. These Germanic tribes intermingled with the black people, where it's like black people everywhere they traveled. And when you read this in context, it's talking about just, dark-skinned people, because black isn't a nationality. Right? He's referring to the dark-skinned other races, because Ham was dark, Shem was dark,
right?
Japheth was dark. This mingling made the people in Syria, Babylon, Assyria, Persia, India, and parts of Arabia much lighter in complexion. Now, the color of the people in this region, range from brown to yellow. The Greek and Roman invasions also made these people in the Middle East lighter. So it kind of like the brother was saying, Esau kind of got up in there, made them all lighter, and went to this part and that part and this part and that part. So if you ever wonder why Moab is all light skinned, that's Esau. It's Esau's fault. Why Japheth is looking lighter than they should, that's Esau's fault. Why any of these nations, for that matter, look super light, that's Esau's fault.
Well, and if you study the so-called white man's anthropology, it will tell you it's because of mass migration. People's skin tones is based off of their migration patterns. They'll say everybody was in Ethiopia, and the so-called white man one day decided to leave. And he shape-shifted and he went up north and he became white. Then a Chinese man went to the damn east and it was windy and he had to squint so his eyes became squinty. You understand? And then a so-called white man eventually, his nose had to damn adjust to the wind so he could breathe. This devil come up with all types of stuff, right? The damn Negro nose, this is what they teach. The Negro nose is able to snuff up the wind of the Saharan desert, the African wind, the so-called white. All of that, a modern day racism is really rooted in pseudoscience, pseudopsychology, and anthropological studies. So they'll show you that in Django, the brain of the Negro skull. They'll crack open the skull. You see these two dents. I'm to pull that movie scene up, man. You see these two dents right here. Negro, oh, go ahead, y'all. I'm gonna find that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was gonna pull up. You got it, King. I was gonna say, yeah. I remember learning that. Hey, that's folly, and I got mad when I heard that for the first time. So I'm like, that don't even make any sense. Because the first thing that popped in my head was Esau, that's been over there for hundreds of years in South Africa, and he's still light skinned. Right. But they still don't have any melanin. And it's a man named I gotta Google it, Blumenbach.
Yeah, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach.
Blumenbach.
Yep.
He was a Edomite, and it's going to say German, a German physician, naturalist, physiologist, and anthropologist. So if you ever wonder where the words Negroid, Caucasoid, and
Mongoloid,
what's the other one? Mongoloid came from, that came from Esau to divide and conquer, and it caused more confusion in the land. Because it's not in the scriptures, Mongoloid.
Exactly.
You won't find that. You won't find Caucasoid in the scriptures. You're not going to find Negroid in the scriptures. And that's confusion because they classify Africans as Negroid. We two different people.
Right. Now, that's right. Now, I want to get this. Now, this is, we kind of going into it.
Yeah.
So check this out.
He's an old Joe that
old Joe
here for a long time. And I do mean a long damn time. Old Ben here took care of my daddy and my daddy's daddy till they up and killed over one day. Old Ben took care of me. Growing up the son of a huge plantation owner in Mississippi puts a white man in contact with a whole lot of black faces.
Hold on. And first of all, we're not black, right? We're not black. I want to get straight to the point, right? All right, here we go. Let me get straight to the point.
Human or any other subhuman species.
Okay, Salaki, bear with me. If you haven't seen Django, hey, look.
But he never did. See, the science of phrenology is crucial to understanding the separation of our two species. In the skull of the African ear, the area associated with submissiveness is larger than any human or any other subhuman species on planet Earth.
You heard that? See that? He said the so-called Negro has a part in his skull that's associated with so-called submissiveness, and that's why we never bucked up against a so-called white man, because we have a dent in our skull. I mean that's absolute madness, man. The reason why Jake never bucked up against a so-called white man is because we got one small dent in our skull associated with submissiveness, right? Hey, David killed plenty of Edomites, man. You know, hey, Yahushua, he's going to destroy Edom, and he's a Judite. You understand? So what is this guy talking about, man? You have plenty of rebellions of Jake, but they didn't have a dent in their skull. This devil is a liar, man. A lot of you Jakes who boast yourselves of the so-called white man's science, you don't know a damn thing. The men of the Lord, they're the true archaeologists. They're the true historians. They're the true anthropologists. And the Bible's a book of the origin of man. You understand? So these devils don't know what's going on, man. Right? You got it, King.
This is Psalms chapter 85, verse 11. And it reads, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Right? Even on the physical level, on the carnal level, you have so much archaeological proof to really show the nations and the world that Israel is not only the first man, but we're the Jews that the Bible speaks of. Right? You have ships. It's like you have what's some of the stuff? You got artifacts such as, the pyramids, the hieroglyphs, and it's Jake on them hieroglyphs too. Stop thinking it's all Ham. You got the nations on those hieroglyphs. You got so much archaeological evidence and proof to substantiate they were the real Jews. If brothers get that, if you ever decide to get that book, Rosebooks, Bible Charts, Maps, and Timelines, it gives you a plethora of archaeological findings. This all just goes back to show you that Esau's a damn liar. Them two indentations, whatever that they made up in Jake's skull doesn't mean that we're, submissive. It just Jake and Esau, man. Esau. It's 100+ proofs that the scriptures is real, and it shows you that through the archaeological findings. So stop believing in what Esau said, and stop thinking that he was the first man, and he's superior, and the Lord's always been with him.
Now you look up the online etymology of the word Europe. It says from the Latin Europa or Greek Europe, which is an uncertain origin, as a geographic name first recorded in a Homeric hymn to Apollo in 522 BC. This is what it says: tell Falsa, here I am minded to make a glorious temple and oracle for men, and hither they will always bring perfection, make perfect hecatombs, both those who live in rich Peloponnesus and those of Europe and all the wave-washed isles. What are the isles? The isles of the Gentiles, the Japhites. So that shows you that the Japhites originally inhabited Europe by the original Japhites, man. So even when you go to the etymology of the word Europe and when that word was first pretty much introduced. So let's deal with the next one. See that Odyssey, a spiritual, right? We just kind of went into it. Odyssey, the Ephraimite. Is all Israel going to be saved? Isaiah 14:1, or is 2/3 going to be destroyed? Let's deal with it. All right, this Isaiah chapter 14:1. It reads, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So this word stranger isn't talking about Israelites. How do you know that? Because when you read the next verse, it tells you who these strangers are. And the people shall take them. Who's the them? The them are the strangers in the previous verse. You can't just go precept upon precept. You also have to go what? Line upon line. Right? And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for his servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So Israel is going to be saved. I mean, these verses, they pretty much are two complete judgments. Isaiah 14:1 is the first resurrection, the elect being saved, put a nation in captivity. Zechariah 13:7, or down about the 2/3, is a judgment on the non-elect. You have something, Yardan? From Gabriel. Are witches curses for real? And if so, does the Lord allow them to go forth? You have actual wizards and witches. Stop thinking that everything's just smoke and mirrors. Or he had you watched the movie, what's that movie? What's that movie with Christian Bale going against Wolverine? They was magicians. The Prestige.
Yeah.
And then they show you all of the ins and outs. I don't know if brother seen that movie back in the day where they damn smashing the bird cage, but it's really an apparatus hooked up to their back, and the bird doesn't die. Or the damn walking man, the invisible man, they throw a ball, then they open it up and then catch
the
it.
door.
Yeah, they fall into a ditch. They got clones and doppelgangers. Now that's not real. But you have actual wizardry and wickedness in high places. Right? Let me get that in 1 Samuel chapter 28. Right? This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 28 and verse 7. It reads, Then said Saul unto his servants, Seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, Behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit in Endor. Now, what does it mean when you have a familiar spirit? When you're familiar with something, you're associated with them. They know you and you know them. You understand? You know the ins and outs about them, and they know the ins and outs about you. Now, if you have a familiar spirit, it means you have a demon inside of you that's familiar with other demons. And it can actually encounter and subdue other demons and use other demons and sick them on other people. That's a familiar spirit. It's a spirit inside of this woman that's familiar with other demons from the spiritual realm. And she doesn't fight that demon to get off of her. She embraces it and allows that demon to control her. You understand? So Saul went to seek a witch, which had a familiar spirit, right? It doesn't mean they're familiar, like, oh, I know you from back in the day when I first became king. Yeah, he dapped up the woman. The woman said, hey, no, that's not how it works, man. Right? It reads, and Saul, and I want to go into this. And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and two men with him. And a lot of you jakes, before you go off, you put on other raiment. Right? You disguise yourself when you go to hell off, man. You put on different clothes spiritually and different garments. You might bring people with you, man. Right? It reads, and they came to the woman by night. And a lot of you jakes, you do it by night. Right? And he said, I pray thee. He said, I pray thee. So his mind is bad. Right? The Lord wasn't answering Saul through visions or dreams or prophets or revelations. So, hey, guess what? He went to seek a witch and said, I pray thee, Salakia, divine unto me the familiar spirit and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. See that? So she can actually do that. She literally did that. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but you'll read how she saw the gods. Let's read on. It reads, I'm going to jump down. Verse 12. So he asked for Saul to be raised up so he could talk to Samuel. Saul asked for Samuel to be raised up. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and the woman spake to Saul, saying, Why hast thou deceived me, for thou art Saul? Because she actually saw the spiritual realm. She was on such a high demonic level on the left-hand side, she kind of pierced through the third heaven and kind of saw Samuel in the third heaven. And then the spirit was so overwhelming, she kind of knew that Saul lied to her. That spirit sent down from the Most High to reveal, hey, look, hey, that's Saul. Because sometimes, hey, man, you deal with, Not that we've done it, but you deal with wizardry and witchcraft, and you'll get jammed up, man. It'll turn against you, and things will start happening. She wasn't expecting the demon to say, "Look, that's Saul." You got people playing with Ouija boards. Then the damn house starts shifting like this, right? Let's do it. Let's get the Ouija board, and they turn all the lights off, and they light candles, and they think it's a game. And you watch these movies, they think it's a game, man.
Yeah.
And that stuff can happen. You know, you bring the accursed thing into your house, and the Lord can put them spirits all on you, man. If you open up a particular book, a demon might hop out. You got people, I want to read the book of the witchcraft and wizardry. I think I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready to unlock another level. Then you open the damn book, and because these words are a spirit, you know. So those other books, they got spirits on the left hand side. That's why you can read them books. They got spells and stuff. It's stirring up spirits. Demons start coming out of nowhere. They're reading stuff in Latin. They're reading stuff in damn Greek. They're going into it, and all hell start breaking loose. So these things are real, right? So let me read on. It reads, "And the king said unto her, Be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth." Meaning she saw the. You said what?
No, I was just reading along.
She saw the angels and the demons going from the spiritual realm to the terrestrial realm. She saw the dead bodies of the saints being taken up. She saw demons coming down to get on man. Right? So she can actually do that. You got it, King.
God. Yeah, that stuff is true. You know, Jake got that Ooga Booga spirit. Mess around with spirits and demons. It's off. This is Exodus 8 and 7. "And the magicians did so with their enchantments and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt." There's no telling exactly how they did it, what they may have said, what books they opened, the hand gestures, but nonetheless they did it, and we know they did it on the left-hand side. You said what?
Just quick point. And those are actual frogs. That's all I want to say.
Oh. Right. Yeah, so you know that stuff is real. 8 on I can't remember the street. It's a shame. But in Campus Martius where we'd be teaching, they had something. I took a picture, but they had something like reading your sign, reading your spirit, something like that, or your stress level. That's what it was. And it's spirits and witchcraft behind that. You know, let me figure out your stress level, and they touch your palm. It's a lot of sorcery that goes, you know, into all of that. Because you don't. That's not. If it's not on the right hand side, it's definitely on the left hand side. Then, you know, because there's many gifts in the truth on the right hand side. There's many gifts on the left hand side, and there's different orders and different types of fields on the left hand side. And certain brothers going to archaeology on the right hand side, going to language, etymology, and on the left hand side they have those things as well. And some may call it tarot card readings, and that's their gift on the left hand side. Others may do acupuncture with let me touch your palm and do all that weird stuff. You know, you got astrologists on the left hand side. Let me get that real quick in Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 47. I'm gonna say verse 10. And it reads, it's like your verse, I'm gonna jump down. Oh, it's like, yeah. Now that enchantments. Here we go.
Let me get out. I got freeze up after you.
This, so like, yeah. That's not Ezekiel 47.
Which one you going into?
Bring now thine enchanters.
Isaiah 47.
Oh, Isaiah 47. Slug
47. Really, you can start at 8, or you can start at 10 on down. And mark it up in the sorcerer's con.
The water. Isaiah 47 and 8. Therefore, hear now this, that thou that art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that says in thine heart, I am and none else besides me. And that's ultimately what you're doing is saying when you move in the left hand side, performing witchcraft. You believe you're the most high. You believe you a damn prophet. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Because Esau does a lot of enchantments. Isn't that Nahum chapter 3, verse 4?
Yep, Nahum 3 and 4.
And it reads, because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts. She's a mistress of witchcrafts. She's the head lady of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. And another type of witchcraft is the pharmaceutical industry. It literally go back to poisoning people. I think pharma going back in the what is it, poison?
Pharmakeia goes back to the Greek word for witchcraft.
Okay, yep. Plain and simple, boldly before your face, witchcraft. You know, that's why the certain setup. It's like one more point. That's why the side effects is the bad dreams. You know, your tongue start swelling. That's witchcraft. How medicine will give me a bad dream? What is that? Leg fall off. You about to say something?
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
Just one more verse. Verse 10 in Isaiah 47. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. That's what Esau do. They trust in their wickedness. They hold it deeply to their heart. That's the apple of their eye. Thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted me. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am and none else besides me. Right? That's why it's Mystery Babylon. Right? Because they hid themselves so well, making everybody believe that they're not causing all this wickedness on earth, that they're not promoting all this witchcraft on earth. He said, hey, none seeth me. That's why you tell Jake, well, who's responsible for all of this? They shrug their shoulder. They act like they don't know. Some act like they don't know, and others, hey, they genuinely don't know. Yeah, that's Esau. He's behind all the witchcraft that's promoted on the earth and the land and TV shows and media. He's that dragon that spews out that flood that tries to consume Israel and drown us. You got it.
I'm gonna add to that. This is Deuteronomy chapter 18 and 10. There wouldn't be laws about wizards and witchcraft if the Most High said, well, that's not real anyway. Right? Why would you address something? Why would the Most have to address and instruct man, the Israelite man, on what spirits to entertain and what spirits not to entertain? If the spirits on the left-hand side didn't exist. Right? And I believe witchcraft, if I'm not mistaken, is the number one growing religion or way of life or worship in America. And guess who's leading it? Eve. Let me see if I can pull it up. There's articles all over. Why is the black woman leaving for witchcraft? Right? Eve is heavy into witchcraft, man. You know? The fruit desired to make one wise. Right? It says, once a haven for the entire community, the black church is losing some of its members to witchcraft. So I'm going to see if I can play this clip and kind of go into it, man. Now, these spells or these curses can affect you if you're not under the protection of the Most High. I'm going to say that again. If you're not under the protection of the Most High, you'll be caught out there. You understand? And you might be sick because you went the hell off, and that angel kind of left you, and that demon kind of finally hopped on you. That somebody was throwing curses on you. Right? Now, let me see if I can get this. Right? Now, I'm going to play this off the screen. Right, so brothers, let me know, or Yardan, let me know if you can see this. Now, check this out. This is absolute madness. Right? So, can you see the screen?
Must be loading. Oh, it's loading. Can I see it?
Check this out. Why some black women are turning to witchcraft.
Jesus was one of the most toxic relationships I've ever had in the entirety of my life. You shouldn't keep your magic in the dark.
You see that? Yardan, can you hear that?
Con.
I want to make sure everybody can hear this. Listen to this. Madness. Absolute madness. What if I can make it a large screen? She says you can't keep your magic in the dark. Right? So check this out.
I honestly believe Jesus was one of the most toxic relationships I've ever had.
Now, okay, white Jesus. Now they don't
Right.
say they don't know the truth. So we can't really get really mad at him, but the Most High is still going to judge him nonetheless. It is a toxic relationship with white Jesus. So that's why Jake like to go to Islam and Eve like to go to witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
In the entirety of my life. You shouldn't keep your magic in the dark. Like, this is your soul. You need to share it to the world. Let it rain on me now. So be it. So it is.
Look at this. Hey, this is a cold cut, man. Leaving Jesus. And he kind of get into this thing, man.
Might do a cool cut on it.
Yeah, hey, just because you fast on the right hand side, and they fast on the left hand side, they have to conjure. They got to stay on fire too, man. They can't be slothful either. They got to constantly read. They got to constantly study. They got to constantly pray to Satan. They got to be on fire, or guess what? Them demons will leave them, man. You got to be on fire on the right hand side. You're the children of the day, and these are the children of the night.
I was a super Christian. I was raised in the church. I was a worship leader. I'm like singing all over the place and touring over here and crying out to God. How many times have I prayed to Jesus to show up for things that were actually needed and he didn't show up?
See that? Well, like I said, you know, our people don't know about Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Your Lord said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Or people have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. That's Isaiah 4 and 6 and Romans 10 and 2 on down, respectively. You know?
Okay.
Melissa Whetstone grew up as a preacher's kid, but 12 years ago, she left the church. She says the community felt toxic, and she didn't feel a personal connection to Jesus.
See that?
Hi, how are you? I need the frankincense and myrrh is here.
She eventually discovered Lukumi, a religion that was brought to Cuba by enslaved West Africans.
It's just a beautiful thing to be a part of.
See that? A lot of Northern Kingdom, they into that. They got mingled amongst the Hamites, kind of learned a lot of that witchcraft and brought it back to them. That's why a lot of them Jakes, when they got rounded up in slavery, stopped thinking all of them was serving the Most High. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in damn slavery, man.
Exactly.
A lot of them was they got mingled amongst the works. Let me get that in Psalms 106. I don't want this to turn to a whole breakdown of damn witchcraft, but you know, this is how the Spirit God is moving right now. Right? This Psalms, let me get this quick precept. This Psalms chapter 106 and verse 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils.
A quick point.
Oh, go ahead, King.
I was going to say, brothers, y'all seen that movie, Synchronic, with Anthony Mackie?
What movie is it?
That's Synchronic. It's a movie called Synchronic.
Oh,
I think it's on Netflix. And anyway, in the movie, like they take some type of pill, witchcraft, whatever. And, you know, the pills is witchcraft. And he ended up like going into like the past, or maybe even the future. Predominantly, it was the past. And it was a certain point where he went back in the past during, you know, slavery days. And he just, when we kind of teleported there, and he saw a whole bunch of Jake just doing witchcraft. And that's just to lane back off what you were saying. A lot of Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, 8, they was doing witchcraft even in his land, right? They wasn't brought over here just because it was, the Lord was bored. It was brought over here because it was doing wickedness. And even in his land, it was doing wickedness, even in slavery.
Huh. And Salaki, hey, Manasseh and Simeon, they still do that to this day. And Levi. Stop thinking that the Levites in Haiti did nothing wrong.
All right.
It was all on fire. It was all diligent. And the Most High said, and the Lord said he has no pleasure in the death of the wicked, man. But that the wicked turn from his, or that the evil turn from his wicked way, paraphrasing. Ezekiel the 18th chapter. And the Lord said that the wicked turn again to pledge. So the Most High is judging them according to their works. So that magnitude 4,000 earthquake that befell the children of Levi, guess what? That's according to their works. Puerto Rico, they always have natural disasters. Cuba's always been invaded, and because of our sins. So I'm gonna play about 45. If you want to watch the rest of this, you can watch the rest of it on your own. I'm gonna play about maybe 45 seconds, maybe a minute more, and then we'll kind of move on.
Community spirit, you're learning and growing with other people. So I really love it.
Black folks have left the church in higher numbers over the last decade than ever.
Look at that. Church membership among non-Hispanic Black adults. It was at 78%, then 70%, then 59%. Everybody's leaving the church. Now, some of them are coming to the truth, but some of them are going off. They're going to other things.
Ever before. And
who's studying this?
Right.
Who's getting into the who's doing this, man? And these doubles study every damn thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said in Ezekiel 28:1 or down, there is no secret that he can hide from thee.
Generations are even less likely to affiliate with the church. But many young people are still seeking spirituality, and some are reviving traditions from Africa and the Caribbean through practices that connect them with their ancestors.
This is my COVID.
Well, pretty much you can watch the rest of it on your own, right? You can kind of check it out. I may go back into it, or you can kind of look into it on your own, right? But witchcraft is real, man. Right? Let me get this real quick at Deuteronomy 18. Right? This is Deuteronomy the 18th chapter and verse 10. So, Jake, you watch out, man. A lot of these Eves, they into witchcraft, and you don't even know about it.
Mm-hmm.
It reads, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination. Divination is conjuring up spirits. That's what divination is. Or an observer of times. An observer of times is somebody that deals with astrological signs, right? And they'll try to conjure up spirits and try to make those things something that they're not on the left-hand side. Or an enchanter. An enchanter is somebody that puts spells on people. They enchant you. They entice you. They send demons on you, right? They'll write you. Yeah, you got Eve. I can't get a man. I'm going to get me a man. And then they write down the name of the man that they want. They dip it in damn blood. They put it under a mattress in a damn couch. They call upon whoever they call upon. Then they meet that man in a damn Starbucks. And he doesn't know. He's going off. He's smoking weed, smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? He being a damn super nigga. And damn, she damn enchanted him, huh? Put a demon on him. And made that demon influenced him and made him go to Starbucks. He never went to Starbucks. He only goes to smoke crack. But now he's smoking. Now he's in Starbucks, and she kind of ran across him. See that? So the Lord will allow you to deal with these demons on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and a wicked woman is given to the portion of a wicked man.
Right, and the Lord said, "That's right." And the Lord said, "Unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required." So the Lord kind of give you much on the left-hand side. He expected you to do a lot with that much, right? We know that's on the right-hand side, but it's also twofold on the left-hand side, right? Gotta clarify that. So you have an enchanter. It says, or a witch. A witch is a female wizard. Now you don't have to have a nasty black hat on and have a big wicked Amalekite nose and a big black pot. You put frog legs and bat wings and hair and snails and toads, and you're stirring it all up in a big bubbling cauldron. That doesn't make you a witch. And you could be a witch. You can bewitch somebody with manipulation, beguiling people, sorcery. There are many forms of witchcraft. Stop thinking witchcraft is just the damn pot stirring up, man. And I'm chasing you on a broomstick. Where's it at? I mean, I'm not gonna say where's it at in the scriptures, but that's not the only form of a witch. It reads, or a charmer. So a charmer is pretty much somebody like an enchanter. But a charmer, they kind of, like when you charm somebody, you attract them. You allure them into the demons, right? It reads, or a consulter with familiar spirits. You got certain people that get advice from demons. I'm thinking about doing A, B, and C. What should I do? Jake said I got to talk to my woes. I got to talk to my demons. Think about killing this nigga on L Block. Let me talk to my demons first. And he really talking about the damn wicked dudes he hang around. But he called them his demons. Because they have actual demons on them. And he has a demon on him. And they have familiar spirits. Right? It reads, or a wizard. We already know what a wizard is. Or a necromancer. Now, you don't want to be a necromancer. A necromancer is somebody that deals with dead bodies. They'll try to conjure up dead bodies and sick them on you to attack you. Now, you have to have a high level of demonology on the left-hand side to get to necromancy. To start, Slocky, real quick, that's what the zombies really are operated by wizards. There's like a chief wizard. When they'll even show you that in the so-called movies. You have these, but it's really a wizard kind of controlling them behind closed doors. You got it, King.
Yeah, these level 1 witches, they don't know how to do all of that. You can't do all of that. You don't know how to do necromancy. You can't, produce frogs like the ancient Egyptians did. They do the level 1 stuff. And the level 1, that's generally what? Attraction stuff. Like you brought out the damn make you fall in love with them.
Right.
That's the most you can really do. And that's already known because that's been exposed. How Eve makes spaghetti. They say never let Eve make you spaghetti. Wow. Especially in the world. Hey, for those who've heard it, if you haven't, Google it. Or don't Google it.
See that? All right, so we're gonna move on because man. Oh, I want to get this one more. Numbers 23. This Numbers 23 and verse 23. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God brought forth? So really, if you and it's truth and you protected by the angels, and they're going to fight those demons. Every day, there's people trying to throw spells on you, curses on you. Read Numbers chapter 22. And that the heathen Balak, he hired Balaam and said, I pray thee, curse me this people, and I'll give you a reward. People, if you're really known in a witchcraft and wizardry industry, and these Edomites still find you out, and they'll kind of pay you, and they'll give you your heart's desire and say, look, we just need you to curse Yaradan. They'll show Yaradan, they'll pull up his image, they'll pull up his blood type, his organ type, they'll pull up his how many stuff he got on and where he's going to be at, and they say, look, sit in a room and just curse Yaradan and the other men of the Most High. He's eventually going to go off. As soon as he goes off, that spell is going to work. Next thing you know, Yaradan got the flu, right? Or now he got into a damn accident. So these things, these things happen to every one of us, man. Because when you're sick, it's really a demon on you. Mm-hmm. Manipulating the damn physiology of your body and causing you to be in a damn harm. So we can move on. Unless you got something else. All right, next question from Joseph Jingori IV. Can you make sense of the contradiction and Luke 7:34, and Proverbs 23:19. Let's deal with it. Right? Let's deal with it. Proverbs chapter 23. And the brother said Proverbs 23:19. The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and 19. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Now let's go to Luke 7:34. Right, this is the book of St. Luke, chapter 7 and 34. It reads, pages. Luke 7:34. The Son of Man is come, eating and drinking, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners.
I don't know the correlation.
Okay, they might want 23 and 20. It says, be not amongst winebibbers, amongst riotous eaters of flesh. So they're saying that's a contradiction, because one scripture says, okay, you can't be amongst winebibbers. Then the next verse in Luke says, the Son of Man is come eating and drinking, and behold, a gluttonous man, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a winebibber. So it's not a contradiction. You can't be amongst gluttonous men and winebibbers. Yahushua wasn't a winebibber. They called him a winebibber. It says, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. That was an accusation put on Yahushua. So,
yeah, that's plain.
Yeah, that's plain. Okay, and smile. Why haven't we seen any of the bodies to the apostles? Esau dug up Egyptian bodies, but none of the apostles. Right? Well, I got a precept. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 8. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 1. It reads, and Esau's not going to tell you everything he does. Right? He's the devil. He's not just going to put everything out there. Right? And I believe there's even, if I'm not mistaken, there's a church, a basilica for Peter the Apostle, where they say his body is to this day. Now, I could be wrong. I have to go and dig into that. But there's a lot of churches where they say the apostles' bodies are still there. But like I said, that's a story for another day. This Jeremiah 8:1. At this time, said the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of the princes, and the bones of priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. So the enemy will do what? Go to where your sepulchres are, right? Go to where your graves are, and they will dig them out of the graves. This is judgment. It says, and they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved and whom they have served, after whom they have walked and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be burned. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. So a lot of the sepulchres and bones of Hezekiah, Asa, Manasseh, Uzziah, our forefathers and kings, their judgment was not to have a burial in peace, but rather for their bones be digged out, spread abroad, and scattered through the four corners of the earth. Right? But you do have particular, hear me up, they say the sound breaking up.
Kind of, it's breaking up a little. It's going in and out, but I heard you for the most part. Like, you can make out what you said.
Okay, Kyle. Okay, Kyle. You have something else on that?
It was mighty precept.
Okay, all praises. Now, it says St. Peter's tomb is a site under St. Peter's Basilica that includes several graves and a structure said by Vatican authorities to have been built to memorialize the location of St. Peter's grave. So you have certain so-called churches where, now we don't know how true it is, but they say, okay, look, the body of St. Peter is still here. And they built a church upon it. But that remains to be seen. Okay, next question. Let's see. Next question. All right, bear with us. Okay, from Joshua Brewer. Can you brothers link me to the camp in Little Rock, Arkansas? I'm 2 hours away, and I love to congregate and possibly join. And so, okay, that's a brother, Joshua Brewer. Well, brother, hey, just hit up the email, right? Hit up the email right now. Watchman for Israel 77@gmail.com. We'll get the notification. We'll answer it immediately and link you in, brother. Most I will.
All right. Come.
Yeah. Right. So there you go, brother. And if you have a social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you can go to the Watchman for Israel and just DM them or myself, Naquam_77. Salakia. All right. Next question from Shakadiya. John 3:8 breakdown. Let's deal with it. Right. It's the book of St. John, chapter 3:8. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest not the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth. So is every one that is born of the Spirit. So you don't know where the wind blows, and nobody can see the wind creeping up on them. The wind doesn't just sneak up on you or let you know what's coming. It's unpredictable through the Spirit, right? That's how the Most High created. It bloweth where it listeth. You understand? Meaning the direction of where it wants to go, that's where it goes. And thou hearest not the sound thereof. So the Spirit is moving, right? You may not see the Spirit. There's no sound of the Spirit. When you're born again and when you come into this truth, there's no thunder. There's no great introduction. There's no earthquake and tsunami. Just like the wind blows where it listeth, but thou hearest not the sound thereof. So is everyone, but canst not tell. It's like, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. So it's the same thing applies to man that's spiritually born again. That's what it means, born of the Spirit. You had your old man who was crucified. He was dead. He was put in the grave. He was put in the dirt. So now what? You come into the truth and the power. How about you never shine? You have the Spirit on you, and you're a new man or a new creature in Yahweh Shai. You have something that Yardan?
Wow.
All right, we could move on. Next question. What happened to the tribe of Dan? You want to deal with that one?
This is Ezekiel chapter 48, verse 23.
It's hot.
Again, this is Ezekiel 48, and it's like a 32. And it reads, as going into the gates, right? All the tribes of Israel will have a gate. All right. This is Ezekiel 30, it's like your 48, verse 30. I'll start at verse 31. All right. Verse 31. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel, 3 gates northward, 1 gate of Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi, and on the east side 4,500, and 3 gates, and 1 gate of Joseph, 1 gate of Benjamin, 1 gate of Dan. Right. So although you don't see Dan on a 12 tribe chart, you're not going to really see here and there a little. And that's a part of the mystery. That's Revelation 2:17. I'm going to pull that next. Lord willing, verse 33. And at the south side, the 4,500 measures 3 gates, one of Simeon, one of Issachar, and one of Zebulun. At the west side, 4,500 with their 3 gates, one of Gad, one gate of Asher, one gate of Naphtali. It was round about the 18,000 measures, and the name of the city from that day shall be the Lord is there. All right, so you find all the tribes, they're measured right within that gate. It's like with their gates, respective gates. So Dan is there. However, you're not gonna if I'm not mistaken, you won't really find him in Revelation. But nonetheless, you understand that he's going to be there in the kingdom. Now, Jake asked that $1 million question: well, where exactly is Dan, and what tribe? Which people is Dan today? Well, we understand that Dan is who? He's part of the northern kingdom. He's not southern kingdom, because southern kingdom comprises of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
Right.
That's Ezra's the first chapter. Right. That's Zechariah 12:7. When Yahweh came on the scene, he came to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi first. All right. And see Judah, Benjamin, and Levi and Dan. Right. That's even further proof to show you that Dan is part of northern kingdom. All right. He's a part of the 10 tribes. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. And it reads, He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh what? Temptation. All right. That great hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble even. All right. Even through the wilderness. All right. He that overcometh will I give to eat the hidden manna. Right. The Lord's not going to say, all right, eat this little bread I baked you 5 minutes ago. Put seasoning on it. Eat it. It's talking about the hidden mysteries. All right. Everything that we don't know. All right. For the most part, because we're not going to know everything about the Lord even in the kingdom. All right, the Lord still moves in discretion. And will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saveth he that receiveth it. But the main point I want to extract is, right, we're going to eat that hidden manna. We're going to understand the mysteries, and as to who Dan is, and why this happened to him, and why we don't really hear of him anymore. All of that's going to come with the kingdom. All right. And that's okay, because we're not meant to know everything. So just know and understand that Dan is indeed northern kingdom. If you want to get specific, there's really no telling exactly. No one can pinpoint and be 1,000% sure. Oh, that's Dan. I know. You can't do that.
That's right. So Dan is going to be in the kingdom, like the brother said. Right, but exactly pinpoint what tribe it is. Nobody really has the answers for that until the Lord. That's where you have hidden manna, 7 thunders. You understand? And that's one of the, if not, one of the main reasons of looking forward to the kingdom is the true revelations of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. And things that were once taken away from you that'll finally be revealed. And the Lord said, I have not seen nor ear heard the things that the Most High promised for them that love him. But with that, we're going to close up. Y'all think got any closing precept?
God, this is Sirach, chapter 35, verse 3. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord, and forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord. Right? The Lord gave you a certain talent. He requires that you wake up Israel using your talents. All right. Verse 6, the offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat. Slightly, verse 5. For all these things are to be done because of the commandment. The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. The sacrifice of a just man is acceptable. The memorial thereof shall never be forgotten. Give the Lord his honor with a good eye, and diminish not the first fruits of thine hands. Right? So everything belongs unto the Lord at the end of the day. And if he requires you to do X, Y, and Z, hey, go do X, Y, and Z. Don't be diminishing. It's like don't diminish the Lord's fruits by being lazy and slothful. Right? I speak to myself. I speak to all the brothers and sisters scattered abroad watching this. That's all I wanted.
And I'm gonna get the classic in Revelation 22 and 11. 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So plain upon tables, whatever work you put in, however long you endure, the time you spend reading, studying, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, alms, charity, brotherly love, you understand, all of the righteous works that you bear, there's a reward for it. There's a reward for stand up all night reading. There's a reward for laboring. And there's a reward for going out on the highways and byways. There's a reward for loving your brother. There's a reward for being charitable. There's a reward for this. Huh? Now, either you want the reward or you don't. But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Mashiach Kwame like Yahushai. As usual, since we did a Q&A and extended the time, there'll be no conference call Q&A tonight. But look out for more Q&As throughout the week via the Cold Cuts channel, via the many brothers, myself, Awaya, Yaradan, Malachi, Amos, and the many other brothers still hop on there. And most I wanted we could do more Q&As and feed the flock. And with that, Brother Naquan.
Brother Yardan, Shalom.
Shalom.